Center.
The NBA began the play-in tournament last night, and the Los Angeles Lakers held off the New Orleans Pelicans 110-106. Both will progress, though the Pelicans will not. It appear have Zion. He went out with a lower leg issue. The Sacramento Kings beat Golden State 118-94. Could be the end of the era in Golden State. In the baseball world, the Astros fell to the Braves 6-2, and the...
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. Take a knee, huddle up. It's time to talk. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Look very closely on your screen. You will see RJ Ochoa comfortably ensconced in the office. That is. I'm Rob Thompson. Lots to get into today. I didn't get a lot of sleep. How you feeling this morning?
I am a plum, and I am eclectic, and I am ready to rock and roll.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Becky. Jump on your YouTube channel, watch us live. We took time to shower and look pretty for you. Huge Cowboy news over the night. They have now doubled their free agency haul. Brand new running back. No more complaints about the running back room. We'll talk about Cowboys signing of Royce Freeman, most recently of the Los Angeles Rams. I remember him back in Oregon. That was Oregon, right? I have a memory of him in green.
Well, does it really matter?
That matters a little bit. I mean, he did play at Oregon, right?
Royce Freeman?
Yeah.
I actually need to double check.
I think that was him.
You're right.
Yeah.
Can you name his high school?
Is he a Texas kid?
Imperial High School.
No, that's not Texas.
California.
There you go. I know
West
Oregon.
Coast guy.
Yeah.
West Coast living.
Here he comes. That we'll discuss ad nauseum. The addition of the running back into that very talented room. More word that the Cowboys are at the very least not busy, apathetic toward the Dak Prescott contract might be a better term. I don't know, man. We'll talk about what's going on in Cowboy land. At least they didn't try to spring this on us like it was a huge move. Like they didn't build up to it like, and we have huge news, presser tomorrow at 9 a.m. You're going to want to be there early. They didn't do that. They just kind of dropped it late last night. We will also look very closely at the play-ins.
The Cowboys, I mean, they made their second external free agent signing on April 16th.
It's a $365 deal, RJ.
That's what your boy Stephen Jones likes to say.
We were having this discussion, and I am curious, just by people's perception, that what you have seen, I'm curious what you guys think of Stephen Jones. Just a couple word sentence. What do you think of him as a person? Do you think he's, whatever? I don't want to put anything in your head. Just reach out. You can use a variety of methods to let us know. I think the Brigade Bar is the best, so everybody else can see it too. Or you can text us at 656-3776. What do you think of the guy? Because I personally, not that I know the cat, but I've probably spent in the last decade, probably some total an hour in his presence and discussions and different times. I always took him as a pretty decent cat who might not be all that good at his job.
I don't think anybody is disagreeing with you. When we were talking about this before the show, you turned my argument into something other than that.
Oh, I thought you didn't like him personally. I was dude,
sure
I never thought he was a bad guy.
I'm sure he's a fine human being. I'm sure he hopefully is a upstanding citizen of high levels of morality. I can't quite speak to
let's
that.
not get into morals.
I'm not questioning that though, but I'm questioning the legitimacy with which he performs his job. However, he would have told you yesterday, you would have said, man, dude, you waited till April 16th to get yourself a running back.
You know how hard it is to find a Royce Freeman? We're talking needles and haystacks here.
It took this long. So, hey, I mean, he hasn't had at least, he's coming off his best season 5 years ago in 2019. So, hey, I mean,
300
wow
plus yards on 77 carries, RJ. He's fresh.
5 years ago.
He's a little old lady that's only driven to church on Sunday. He's got a lot of left on those tires. So look on the bright side, RJ. Yeah. It's Wednesday. We're halfway home. Joe will tell us later it's hump day.
We're actually not halfway there, you and I. We still have a little bit to go.
Oh, baby. I'm far past halfway.
Yeah, I know you are.
There's steam coming off. This is about to boil. We're almost there. We got a lot of basketball to look into. I'm so mad at Zion. I'm so mad at that dude.
Because he got hurt?
Yes. I'm mad at him because he got hurt. And he's the only guy in the world that I'll say that about. I am mad at you because I feel like it's your fault. Depriving me of another opportunity to see what I saw last night.
He was cooking.
Oh, my God.
There's no doubt about it. And, I mean, hamstrings in I guess it's a little over 48 hours, 72 hours. He's got a chance. I mean, I don't know.
Is it a hamstring? All I heard was lower leg. Have you seen it's hammy?
That's hamstring according to Shams. So, I mean, he's got let's call it 68, 69 hours to get proper and get ready for the Kings. But those Kings ain't going to make it easy.
No, man. Keegan.
Those are some plucky Kings.
I'm going to say it again. Keegan. Someone? Edwin? RJ? I found my new Sancha, my new team to follow.
I just want to say something about this.
Murray. There we go. Thank you.
You're ready to jump in on the Kings bandwagon. Just let's consider the timeline of events.
Hey, man. Right? I'm easily sold. I'm an impulse buyer, man.
24 hours ago, it was a matter of like, these playing games I'm not into. Like, these teams aren't very good. You know, they are lambs to the slaughter. These teams aren't that interesting. I'm not that interested in these teams. You know, whatever. Miss me with this. I'd rather have a LeBron Steph matchup at least to try to get my juices flowing on Friday night. After 2 games of NBA, not even real playoff action as you've been quick to define around here, but after 2 games, you are all the way in on Sacramento.
Well, I didn't know they had it in them, first of all, without Monk and Herter. I didn't know they had it in them.
You didn't know they had it in them to beat
I didn't.
A running on fumes Warriors team?
No, I didn't. And I wasn't alone in that. So they surprised me there. But the reason I'm all in ain't so much about the team. And the team is interesting because they're stupid and they're smart. The fans. I love that arena. They the Sacramento fans remind me of San Antonio in '99. They don't have the same quality of team to root for, but those dudes are gonzo, man. They are so in it to win it. They want it so bad. You can just feel it in that building. And they look like us. They don't look like city folk.
There is a cute little nostalgia with watching them, certainly. And there is, I know, well, now they got the A's, so watch out because they're big time.
They are.
They got 3 years of a Major League Baseball team, but there is some semblance of like, well, what else do they have? You
Seriously.
know what I mean? Like you know, it's the Kings. You know, let's enjoy. Plus, you know what I like about them? This is a weird thing, but name off the top of your head another NBA team that you associate with the color purple.
Exactly. I mean, there's been a few that have come and gone, but they are truly purple, and they need to own it more.
Even the Suns, I mean, I associate more with orange. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think of them as purple.
And Toronto had a flavor of purple, but not the right purple. But Sacramento, that's purple, and they need to own it more. They really do.
That's what I'm saying. The Suns have kind of gotten into like the orange-black even, you know? And so it's just like they stand alone. They stand out. They're their own thing, and they're unafraid of it, you know? Good for you, Kings. Wave your flag. Beat those Pelicans, whether Zion's healthy or not on Friday.
We'll look very closely at the signing. Stephen Jones spoke. Do we believe him?
Oh. I would rather be anywhere but here right now.
The TV rankings were in for the ladies draft, and you know, of course, way up.
Well, and they were in for the Masters as well, and they were way down.
I know.
They did about half of, speaking of the ladies, Caitlin Clark's 90 for Iowa. That's pretty wild when you think about it, that the Masters did half of the women's national championship game. I'm rounding here, but that's just insane.
We what do you make of the McElroy rumors when speaking of PGA?
I make of it. I think that the Live Tour did not have the showing that they would have liked at the Masters.
No, they did not.
And they needed some juice, and so they threw this out hoping it would stick. Well, if there was one dude who I would bet against joining their tour, it's Rory McIlroy. So,
according to reports, two separate sources have come out and said that the LIV group have offered an estimated $850 million for McIlroy. That'd be 2% of the company.
That would destroy the PGA Tour. I mean, if you think it's already broken, I mean, we're talking it would wipe it out. If Rory were to leave, the PGA Tour as we know it would completely and totally cease to exist.
That's an awful lot of weight to carry. That's an awful lot to throw. I think there's only one more important character in this whole play, and you know it. And Tiger ain't going. But you're right.
No, I mean, and Tiger would be worth it, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I mean, he's not at the peak of his game the way Rory is. I mean, that's the difference. Is you go get Rory. I mean, he's not the number one golfer in the world, but I mean, he's the biggest fish you can land. Right? All due respect to Scotty.
And if he did. If you took it, what would your opinion of it be? Would it change?
I don't think it's. I mean, we're so deep into this that it's just kind of. I love golf greatly, and I'm so apathetic. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of like, what tour does this person play for? What team are they on? What is a signature event? What's an elevated event? I'm so tired of hearing about board seats and whatever portfolios. Like, I just want to watch you play golf. That's really all I care about. Fix this. And I don't want to see these great players on different tours not competing against one another all the time. So whatever has to happen, I mean, selfishly, that's what I want the most. So if Rory leaves, I think that puts us closer to some sort of answer. I'm just tired of living in the indifference of it. It's been 2 years, and we have no idea where the world of professional golf is going. Imagine if this was happening in, I mean, I don't know, pick a league. I mean, where you had two competing leagues tearing apart the group, and every now and again they'd come together and compete against each other, but then they'd go back to their own separate worlds. It's a very unique thing.
And one feeling more of an exhibition. To me, the Live Tour feels like an exhibition. You want to go see great golfers? Go watch it, but great golf? I don't know. You might stumble into a great golf round, but I don't feel like there's a competitive edge. But if you're down to just go follow good golfers around, the Livers are the place, and they show up, 4 times a year. I guess it'd be like the NBA competing with the Globetrotters. Well, the Globetrotters for a year, they travel around and play basketball. 4 times a year, they show up to play.
It would be that if the Globetrotters were legitimately poaching NBA talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? If tomorrow it was this matter of like, oh, Jamal Murray's not going to play with Joker anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
What? Why not? You know,
he's going to be a Globetrotter, but you'll see him in April when we have the International Leagues of Nation tournament or something like that. But right now, no, just go watch him play 3-on-3 next weekend because it's really cool.
Or like in the lead up to, I don't know, if it was going to be a Nuggets Celtics finals, as we've kind of all forecasted, like, oh yeah, right before the game, Jamal Murray's out, so we don't get to see him against the, you know what I mean? Like that would just suck. Like, I want to see the best talent competing against another. It's the whole point of sport.
So with that in mind, our point towards sports is to discuss the merits therein. We are going to look at the possible injury to the hammy or lower leg soreness that we heard yesterday from New Orleans with Dr. Jason Garrett. He'll get here at 8:45 as we talk injuries, and they're crucial right now. We'll look at Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, see if they're going to be ready. Giannis might be missing some early time. That'll be a point of discussion. And it's always a pleasure to catch up with Dr. Garrett. So you want to make sure you're here at 8:45. So here's the order. Grab your playbills and act appropriately. Coming back, we'll look at the first night of the play-in services. Do you like it? Was it fun? Or was it just a wasted evening of basketball? I think it's a little bit of both. We'll look here from Stephen Jones. He came out from underneath the rock and explained exactly what the purpose of this offseason is. And you just got to remember, there is no offseason in the Dallas Cowboy world. It is a 365 kind of a proposition. We'll hear from Stephen. Hold on tight. We're coming back. Talking to hoops that began last night. carbo load appropriately, and grab your caffeine. It's the Morning Huddle, and you are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Trane heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TraneInfo.com to find your local independent Trane dealer. TraneInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Diamonds Direct Spring Sale is here. Shop now and get an extra 20% off Diamonds Direct's renowned prices. It's the best sale of the season. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. That's 20% off plus $100 off store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, engagement rings, and more. And enjoy an expanded selection with designer appearances each weekend. 20% off now to April 21st. And open Sundays. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Keys to Progress and Conservation, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Over 1 million people visit Washington, D.C. every year to see the cherry blossoms. And one of those trees, named Stumpy, has become a celebrity.
Just stands out, holds his own year after year.
I think it's the underdog, It's the underdog. He's still making it.
Stumpy never dies. Stumpy never gives up.
Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com.
Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
Sadly, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 women in the U.S. will encounter physical abuse from an intimate partner, and violence against children persist. Christie's Hope strives to overcome domestic violence by providing critical financial support to shelters that offer housing, healing, and preventative measures. Thomas J. Henry proudly collaborates with Christie's Hope in the shared mission to end domestic violence and empower victims. Join us in building a legacy of hope. Donate today at christieshope.org.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heavener, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Let's go!
Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. He's RJ, I'm Rob. We call it the Morning Huddle. It's driven professionally by Edwin Hafner. We call him Easy E because of his easygoing demeanor. We were all up late last night. When did you did you stay up and watch all of the Sacramento game?
I tapped out near the very end. Once it was a foregone conclusion, and if there was a point, I think, where it felt safe, and that was my curtain.
You're stronger than I made it to the end of the third quarter, and I watched probably the dumbest basketball play of the season, and I felt like if the Kings can survive this, they'll win the game. And it was the foul at the end of the third quarter that turned into a flagrant one because Sarr took the landing spot from Shooter, so it ended up in 5 free throws to close out the third quarter, and Golden State still couldn't come back. So off they go, and I think we can. I don't know if it's a dead vampire, but the stake might be getting close to the heart. That was a terrible end. You know,
You're talking about the stake in the heart of the Warriors?
Golden State Warriors. There was a sense of finality to that. It really was a rough one.
I think the mark of great dynasties is when you can gut out elite performances, elite years, and maybe even titles when it feels like you shouldn't. And the Warriors title from a couple of years ago, it kind of felt like, are they really the best team in the NBA? You know, are they just the grittiest and the toughest?
The team that just knows how to win more than anybody else. Yeah,
and that's the most impressive title there is. When you've done it so many times that you can just lock yourself in and take it away from somebody else that might be more deserving on paper. And so in a weird way, that's kind of like, that's your last breath. That's your last, like, real chance. And ever since then, we've seen the Warriors like sputter. You know what I mean? And it's a bummer. I mean, there's a generation of kids. I mean, there's a generation of kids on the Kings who, grew up, watching and probably idolizing and emulating this team. So it's a bummer when stuff like that comes to a conclusion.
Klay Thompson, what a miserable in there. Certainly he's done in Golden State. I don't know if he's done in the NBA. I'll say this, as the Spurs build a roster, build an entire team, there's always rooms for vets that know how to do things. Might not be able to still do it on a regular basis on the court. And Pop's been a master at finding those guys over the last 25 years. So I'm not incredibly opposed to having a guy like Klay Thompson show up in San Antonio. Doesn't have to play a lot of minutes, but certainly could provide the guidance, and still got a jumper that's available. So as they end, I'm certainly not opposed to picking off the bones of the carcass to figure out where they're going. On the Brigade Bar just a minute ago, I had somebody pop up and greatly impressed with the Laker performance last night. I was too. I mean, they played a hard-fought game. I think if Zion would have finished, it might have been a little bit different. But that kind of defined what you were just talking about, RJ. A team that just knows how to win basketball games.
I think that's a good characterization, one that people don't often want to afford the Lakers just because they're the Lakers. But and it's not like, to be clear, they stormed through this mighty, thing that was the Pelicans, but especially after Zion got hurt, right? I mean, that's an important piece of context as well. But I mean, I will give them some props for not rigging the game and not saying, you know what, Oklahoma City's better. Because especially now knowing what we know, you don't have to go to the Warriors, although they were clearly the lesser team. So, and you could certainly argue that they took the bird in hand, right?
Mhm.
And they said, let's do it. Let's get a playoff series and let's see what happens. Anything can happen. I think that anything works against them, but last night was a good night for the Lakers, so good for them.
What do you think of the format?
I wish that the Laker game had been second. I mean,
just the timing.
If I have to quibble with things, I wish the Laker game had been second. But I mean, I don't know.
4 teams play, 3 teams progress. There's not a lot of do or die to it.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds even worse than it was in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And so, wow. And even the team that didn't progress, I think we all feel like, oh, this is a bummer.
Yeah, but that's about right.
We're used to watching them, but yeah, they're not that good. So the mini playoffs have 75% advancing.
Pretty much. 4 teams play, 3 teams play again. Yeah.
And even then, you're only going to lose one more team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there isn't this. I would love it if it had this do or die mentality. Like some of the best nights, I'm getting real into the NHL playoffs that are starting up. All right. They're not quite here yet. And I'm excited to talk to Jason Minix about them and really kind of pick his hockey head. But
yeah, you're going to get full dose tomorrow.
So the regular season closes tomorrow for the NHL. But last night there were these incredibly important games in the Eastern Conference. And so because of the point system in the NHL, with you get points in,
like a half a point for a tie, stuff like that.
You get a point if the game goes to overtime, 3 points for a win, whatever. Some sports are different. So, but because of that, some teams needed to win, but needed to have another team establish at least a point. Like we had all these scenarios going on last night, and the Philadelphia Flyers, I believe, they needed to win. And even though their game was tied and they could have, kind of held on to a point, so they pulled their goalie at the last second.
Oh, goalie.
But just from the perspective of this has to happen. Like we have to try right now. So there is this really fun sense of desperation in sports when you get teams that are just throwing the kitchen sink at things. Did you really feel like last night any of the 4 NBA teams threw the kitchen sink?
No.
Because
there was a tomorrow.
That's my real problem with the play-in is we get bigger and greater drama at the end of some regular seasons. Even in regular seasons like the NHL, sometimes it happens in Major League Baseball where they are scratching and clawing, with their fingernails for that inch, right at the very end. So if you can't manufacture that, you can't create it in a lab, and it feels like that's what the NBA is trying to do.
Although, I mean, it wasn't like they weren't competitive. It just felt like there was a safety net, and when I watched Zion punching the air and mad walking off, you still kind of felt like, well, if it ain't that bad, I'll see him on Friday. That's kind of the sense I got. But before that, I can't end the segment without. I'm so mad at Zion. I'm just mad at him. Why? Did I not hear that during the regular season? Now this was the season that Zion played like 70 games. It's the most he's played in his NBA career. And even in a season where he played 70 games, he had to lose 25 pounds since the midseason tournament. That's just that, that's irresponsible. That's like a guy getting mad at his car because I let it run for a month without oil. I don't know why it broke down. Damn car. Dude, you can't treat your body like that. You can't. You're a professional. And you go out and do this. You give us what we all love, and then you're limping off the court. Dude.
You think he'll play Friday?
You better.
This isn't Zion related anymore, but maybe Friday will feel the way we want it to feel because it will truly be a win or go home game for both teams, all 4 teams.
And if he's healthy and bringing it, wow, what the potential we have for just a phenomenal do or die kind of game. But of course, Zion's going to be limping, and that's going to be the news for the next 48 hours. I was going to call him a derogatory name. Can the heavyset kid get himself back in?
You wouldn't do that. I've known you a long time, and I can't once think of a time where you used a derogatory word.
Well, I was gonna call him Porky.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about the like biological happenings of what's going on here and whatnot. But so I'm not gonna convict one way or another. But it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate when you don't get to watch, not just an elite player in theory, like a player having being that. You know what I mean? Like to have it yanked from you mid game is so unsettling and so unnerving. And so it's a bummer. I hope he plays on Friday night. I hope he plays the way that he's capable of playing, because that's a lot of fun to watch.
And I want him to be healthy. I'm rooting for him to play, because you're depriving me of watching what was a ridiculous exhibition of athleticism, the likes of which there's no other human on the planet that can do what that cat can do. Did you see him take on in the first half? It was a 1-on-4 fast break. And by the way, as we go to break, LeBron James getting decleated, taking a charge from Zion. That's like stepping in front of a Volkswagen, a Beetle coming at you, or a Rhino. I could have been more impressed. LeBron showed that old man strength. Had to get up and tie his shoes, man. He got lifted off the ground.
Good for LeBron. Nobody can question his will to win.
Oh, man. Impressive for sure. Is Stephen Jones impressive? He spoke yesterday, and maybe cleaning up the messes for his daddy is getting kind of wearing on him. I don't know. We're going to hear from Stephen. Oh, by the way, they got themselves a running back. We'll talk about the future that is Royce Freeman and the Dallas Cowboys as Stephen Jones wax rhapsodic on the offseason, which is a 365 proposition. So are we. We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it's Wednesdays, and that means it's special because it's Wednesdays with Wade. We will talk with the San Antonio Brahmas head coach at 4:35. Plus, we'll get you ready for the East Play-In tournament. And yeah, we'll talk Cowboys because it's the Blitz. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Can a president not have sex with a porn star?
Clinton did it. No one had a problem with Clinton doing it.
Or
Kennedy, or... No one had problems with them doing it, right?
It's definitely an ingredient that was injected from the other side. What's the guy's name? The evil guy from Hungary, super rich.
Dracula?
No.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joe, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joe, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number N16004. DACLA 000743458.
Pros, save big every day when you buy in bulk at Lowe's. Save 10% on bulk purchases of select roofing shingles. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store lowes.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Coming up today at 4:35 on San Antonio Sports Star. It's Wednesdays with Wade. San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joins the Blitz and gets you inside the Brahmas every Wednesday at 4:35.
Hey, gather round. It's the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1. Make sure you're watching us live, going to the appropriate places, putting a thumb on it, getting yourself on the brigade bar. That's a lot to ask for, I know, early in the morning, but some are born to greatness. Others have it thrust upon them, much like R.J. Ochoa, born to it. So was Stephen Jones, born to it. Third base, baby. Thought he hit a triple. Yesterday, he came out of hiding. It's been a minute since we've heard from the Joneses. He was on the Fan?
Yes.
Do you think he was fulfilling a contractual obligation, or did they want to come out and
100%?
Because the timing was interesting as Steven shows up, and within 12 hours, they sign up a brand new running back. Not sign up, but sign a new running back in Royce Freeman, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams, a 5-year pro. Well-traveled. Most teams wouldn't be upset with the signing of Royce Freeman. He's an established NFL veteran, a hard running type.
I don't have any ill thoughts about Royce Freeman.
So,
sure, this isn't about Royce, but
what's to follow Royce has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Also, by the way, in the report from ESPN's Todd Archer, he said, this will not inhibit the Cowboys from drafting a running back.
Oh, good. I'm glad to know that.
In the report from the Dallas Morning News' Michael Gelkin, he said, this will not inhibit the Dallas Cowboys from drafting a running back next week.
Who is that?
In the article announcing this news on DallasCowboys.com, at the very end, it said, this will not inhibit the Dallas Cowboys from drafting a running back next week. So not only is this quite the indictment of Royce Freeman in today's day and age,
we're not even
but
sure
it's also clear that the order has been, make sure that everybody knows that we are drafting a running back next week.
So, well, they could be offering some strategery. They could be zagging while we're thinking they're zigging. But that signing be damned. I don't care. I don't care because it doesn't matter. It's a drop in the bucket. It literally made no difference. So, yeah, they did that. But, Stephen, do you feel like he had to come on to defend his daddy, defend himself, defend the team? Before we hear all this, I want to take your perspective. Was it a defensive or an offensive gesture for Stephen Jones to come on the Fan yesterday?
I don't think it's that thought out. I don't think that there is much to it. I think it was just
so you make nothing of the timing.
No.
Okay.
I don't think,
you're
there's
probably
anything
right.
to do with this time.
Yeah, you're probably right. So yesterday,
and I think that they're probably tired, from up on top in Mount Pius in the ivory tower. I think they're tired of hearing that they are cheap and don't spend money.
Okay, so there was some strategy.
And I think that they're trying to peddle lies that they are spending money. I mean, Stephen, cited that over a 5-year period, you have to spend so much, and every team does, and they're right there. This information is out on the internet. I mean, this information and data is available. And immediately after he said this, he was called out by everyone on the internet. Shout out to Jack Duffin, who does a great job covering the Cleveland Browns. The Cowboys are the 30th team in spending and spent $223 million less than the Browns. But yeah, Stephen, you're really in here. You're really trying. You're really mixing it up.
Well, Stephen tells us they're not done.
Well, we just look forward to a great draft, and we've got a lot of good young football players that we feel like can step up. But we do have the draft coming up. We expect some good things to happen for us there in terms of where we may have some holes. And then, of course, as I said, player acquisitions, 365 days a year. And we certainly expect that to be ongoing as well in terms of filling holes with players who aren't necessarily in the draft, but certainly understand where people are going to measure whether you lose somebody or you replace them or don't replace them right then and there, then we understand that. But we certainly feel good about the direction we're headed. We like our roster. We like our football team. And right now we're focused on the draft, but we're also looking at other situations that could help our team out.
Stephen Jones yesterday on the Fan. 365 proposition. They're happy with where they are, and looking forward to a productive and
let me ask you this, because you've been being cute this morning.
Aren't I always, RJ?
Do you, in your heart of hearts, do you believe that he is spending 365 days a year poring over the Dallas Cowboys roster, the state of free agency, the rosters across the league, identifying ways he can hopefully exploit things and give his team an advantage?
No, I don't. No one does.
I don't think that's true at all. I think Howie Roseman does.
No, I thought you were asking, do I believe that Stephen Jones is doing that?
Right.
No, I don't believe
that is the
believes
question. But if you're saying no one does, I disagree with that assertion.
No. I think there's you don't get to be a general manager of an NFL football team without putting in 150-hour weeks. You know what I mean? No, I think there's a lot of guys that wake up on a Monday morning in the building and stay there till Friday to Saturday night. No, I think that there are passionate general managers whose their very lifeblood is the thing that they're doing. No, so Stephen is a figurehead who relies on Will, Clay, and underlings to tell him what he should think. That's what he is.
Their lives depend on it too, right? Like if they fail, there's not food on their table, so to speak.
So I agree. He doesn't have that buy-in. Absolutely not. But I think he believes that he's paying people that are. But those same people have been in a building for 10, 15 years too. So I don't think anybody's doing 100% because no one has to.
I'm not saying that the Joneses are the sole people in the building who are wrong. I'm not saying even that they're 100% wrong. But it's very, very, very clear that the general disposition here is coming from the top and that it is antiquated and is not working. And what I can make peace with, a crappy offseason. I'll disagree with it, right? And I'll let my thoughts be known about it. But I can make peace. I can lay my head down on a pillow and go to sleep and feel peace and say, hey, you know what? That's just the way you want to do. It's your team. They're your billions. You bought it. I mean, I'm just a fan watching along, letting my emotional capacity be completely and totally impacted by this. But I can still make my peace. What I can't square is when you come out and you lie. That is what's frustrating. When you come out and you say, well, we're really up against it. We can't pay. We're trying this 365 days. You have nothing to show for this offseason, bro.
Right.
Bruh. If you had some extensions done, if you had done anything, I would try very hard to defend you. I really would, and I have in the past. But the fact that there are just you haven't even gotten off the couch. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's outside. They've done the yard. They've washed the car. They've painted the house. They've redone the roof. They've got a brisket in the smoker. I mean, they've accomplished so much today, and you're sitting in here just, thinking about maybe possibly inconveniencing yourself enough to get up.
A confederacy of dunces. I think, some of this is, what's the old Costanza line? It's not a lie if you believe it. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're lying. I do think that Stephen thinks he's doing it because he knows no different. He's never worked for another team. He doesn't know what really goes into it. He only worked for Jerry, for Daddy. I think he believes it. I do. I believe he believes.
I disagree with that. I don't think that they actually believe that their line of logic is the best. I think that they're just that apathetic. It doesn't matter what they don't need to think.
Ignorance
Rob.
or apathy, which one is it?
Yeah, like what it's it's all going to happen the same whether they think or not. You know what I mean? So why bother themselves to do it? Oh man, I got to go on the radio. Okay, let me check the boxes. But the draft is next week. We're very excited. Roster acquisitions, 365 day proposition. We really like our guys. We're bummed about the guys who left because we liked them in the past, but they're no longer our guys. By the way, that Tyler Badass name, that's really clever. That's really funny. Did y'all come up with that? All right, see you next week.
Oh, we're running hot and running late. But Steven has a retort to you, RJ.
Okay, fine.
That's not what I just said. I said that's part of it. I said the other part is the success on the field. And we certainly expect to have that, and certainly know that that's what our fans expect to have. As I said, I think over the last 3 years, we've won 36 games, but we hadn't had success in the playoffs. And we know until we do that, there's going to be frustration and certainly expectation to do better than that.
We expect so much more.
Tell me anything he said that AI couldn't. Anything.
The AI Stephen Jones. We might have a brand new character for the Morning Huddle. The AI Stephen Jones. We're going to throw that to Watson Blue and see if he can figure it out. Hey, coming back. Are you hungry? What's the ideal breakfast for us morning types? Early morning types, because we're on the hunt. Lots to talk about, including food, because that's what we know. It's a 365 proposition, RJ. We stay active. We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train. Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the Tin Cup Bar, the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of San Antonio, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to the Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Are you ready to party with a purpose? Taste of the Northside is Thursday, April 18th at the beautiful Security Service Event Center. This elevated fiesta event for foodies includes on-site covered parking, entertainment, unlimited tastings from over 30 premier restaurants, countless curated wines and craft beers, hosted by Brighton Center, presented by HEB. Purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, the largest nonprofit in San Antonio, serving children with disabilities through pediatric therapy and education initiatives.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, we are going to talk some Dallas Cowboys football because, well, why not? That's what we do here on the Blitz, and we're getting ready for the draft. Plus, we've got some more playoff basketball or play-in basketball. The East has its turn coming up tonight, and it's Wednesdays with Wade. He'll join us at 4:35. Hey, Rob, you want to – hey, Rob. I got nothing. Check it out on a Tuesday, are you, Joe? He'll be here today at 2:00, I guess. Welcome back.
Pop in here on Friday, by the way. There's a rumor going.
I hear tell that I'm not going to be here. I've heard rumor that I'm going to be gone Thursday and Friday as we head into the weekend. So I'm acting like it's Friday. Forgive me.
Well,
are you jealous?
Some people live like it's Friday.
Yeah, I live like that. Here's to feeling good all the time. We're going to talk some Spurs in a bit as we head toward the draft. We got a lot of basketball to kind of fight through that matters, but it doesn't. But the most important question of the day is, what am I going to have for breakfast here in the next 8 minutes? What is your best?
What would you like?
Well, I've been eating. You got me started back at the Super Bowl with these little sausage and pancakes on a stick, which are phenomenal. It's the perfect grab-and-go breakfast. At least it has been. But it's been a couple months of consistency.
You had a stick. I mean, it was just fun.
And I'm headed into a couple of weeks of a whole bunch of food on a stick. I need to find something else. Something easy, quick, fillings.
I'm a big overnight oats guy. I love overnight oats.
Do you warm them or you eat them cold?
Cold.
Oh.
You throw them in the oat milk and shake them up, and
it's a consistency thing. It's not bad. I don't dislike the taste.
Throw some fruit
it's like
in there,
cold coffee.
Throw some bananas, some blueberries,
yeah,
raspberries, blackberries.
That's right there. But there's some effort involved, and that'd be the prep work the night before, which
we're
probably
talking
ain't gonna happen.
2 minutes of prep work.
Whether it's 2 minutes or an hour, it's the motivation to do any of it at the night before.
But it takes less time than warming up your.
So you just take regular oats and pour milk in it and just throw it in the fridge? Is that basically?
Well, they're special overnight oats.
But there's like a type of oat.
Yeah, and it's a little bag, and you rip open the bag, and you pour in 8 ounces of oat milk in a little thing.
That doesn't sound like enough.
And then you pour in the oats, and then you shake it up, and you put it in the fridge. That's it. Done.
Do you have a fancy mason jar?
No, but it is a fancy little. It came with.
Oh, I've got the accoutrement.
It's like a little protein shake cup thing.
See, and that's the other thing. I'm anti those things. If I can't do it in my San Antonio Spurs cup, I don't want it.
Quickly, your ideal breakfast plate. You're going out to brunch. What's on your plate?
Chilaquiles.
That's your ideal plate.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you did this all wrong. The answer that we're looking for
chilaquiles.
on the main plate, we have some sort of pork chop going on. We have over medium eggs and some sort of hash brown, potatoes, whatever.
That's an excellent breakfast.
Some refried beans. Got some tortillas on the side. A nice salsa with a subtle kick that can kind of wake me up. If you want to do a little pre-appetizer with like a little stack of pancakes, not for me, but I'm not opposed. You know what I mean? If you really want to do that, you're feeling
the
that
pork
hungry.
chop was an interesting choice. I'm not against it. A fine breakfast, but I'm a chilaquiles guy.
I only eat pork chops for breakfast. I don't really ever eat them for dinner. Yeah.
Oh, you should marinate them and throw them in your Traeger. Try pork chop and some pickle juice. Change your life.
Pickles are disgusting and should be
I did not
abolished.
say pickles. I said juice. Say, coming back, we got you juice. The ringer.
What?
We got you juice.
I don't have that. That's a Rob thing.
Rob
is 100% in on that. Not me.
We'll be right back. We got you juice here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Tri-County Meat Market's waiting on you today. The weekend's fantastic. It is the time to char some fine meat on your grill. In all seriousness, the great thing about Tri-County Meat Market is every time you walk in the door, the meat that they've got waiting on you is the best you're going to find. They start at prime and get better. A great meal starts with great meat. They say it, I believe it, and I'll tell you why. You can walk into Tri-County with no plan, no menu, and they'll find something for you. If you're looking for a great rub, something extra to throw on there, you're looking for something unique coming out of Louisiana or something special, they've got that as well. They're always sampling. There's always something different going on in both of the Tri-County locations. I do recommend while you're in there, talking to one of the fine butchers back there, some of your meat cutters, about the curated frozen boxes as we head into the summer season. You want to always make sure you got a steak on hand or some of those great hot dogs or some of the best hamburger meat you're going to find. Make sure you save yourself a little bit of money. They'll put together a box that'll fit your needs, and it'll make sure you save a little bit of money at the same time. Tri-County's got 2 locations, Heaton Road and Ralph Fair. If you're a first responder, you always get 10% off, and the 5 for $25 is always in play. That's 5 items in a bag, $25. Trust me, there's 2 meals in there of fine eating. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over there today, put some good meat on the grill, and I know you're going to thank me later.
This is the Morning Huddle with Robin RJ. Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
but it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. From ordering to reporting, we even keep your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy.
You're not having any lasagna?
All I can taste is hours of expense reports.
Relax, you used EasyCater. Enjoy the food, Ray.
Oh, no, thanks.
Enjoy it?
Amazing.
Yes, Ray. It is amazing. 100,000 restaurants and everything you need to make food for work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, 210-651-5899. License number M16004, DACLA 000743445.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. What to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks, with everything from tequila cocktails to extensive bourbon categories that you will not believe. Their top shelf spirits and cocktails served over those icy balls cannot be matched. Twin Peaks has you covered. And don't forget about the 29-degree man-sized drafts.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys doubled their free agent haul in the offseason yesterday with the signing of Royce Freeman, running back, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams. 77 carries of 319 yards, 2 touchdowns is what he's bringing to the team. The Houston Astros fell to the Braves 6-2, and the Texas Rangers, well, they had a tough one too. They fell 4-2 to the Detroit Tigers.
Goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama. This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, huddle up! There's a lot to do today. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, busily editing the Blogging the Boys website. We're going to use that as our reference point today as we hear from Stephen Jones on the state of the Cowboys heading into the draft. Lots of conversation there. The Spurs are done, though the players continue to make news. We're going to talk real quickly about them in our Silver and Black Daily. And look around the NBA, and your calls and conversations are going to play a huge role in our show. So please do that. Jump on your device. What do you think of where the Spurs are now? Have you looked at the draft, guys you like? And where are we going? 656-377-6656 ESPN. Wemby had an interview with The Ringer. And he sat down with the French journalists, too, I believe, on Sunday as well. We're getting to know this cat a little bit more and more. I'm having a little bit of deja vu.
In what sense?
You know, this guy is just, he's like the other guys. He's so good. You know, the more I hear about him, the more you like him.
He's read an article in the Express yesterday about how he met one of his favorite author, I think his actual favorite author, after the win in Salt Lake City, and how he was just like overly excited. And it's like a not science fiction, but like a fictional writer, kind of like fantasy fiction. I don't want to get the genre wrong, but I'm thinking like Game of Thrones ish, that kind of stuff.
Brandon Sanderson is his name, and he's a fantasy author. Yeah.
Thank you. So there's some series, some Mist series that was referenced, and so it was really just kind of cool, like a cool introspection at who Wemby is, and he apparently gave the author his game-worn jersey from the win in Salt Lake City, signed it up and everything. How many NBA players would you guess have come off the court and taken off their jersey and signed it and given it to an author of a fantasy series? I mean,
David Robinson would be the guy. Like I'm telling you, it's deja vu. I feel like I've gone down this road before, and I would have said, replace him with Tim Duncan or replace him with David Robinson. Say the same sentence. You go, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's just wild. I mean, for what it's worth, by the way, the author apparently brought something as well. So it wasn't like a one-way exchange. It was a signed copy of one of his books. I'm not trying to say that that's not worth as much as a game-worn Wemby jersey in a win, but
I bet it's a bit. Well, right now it's about equal. That Wemby jersey is going to be worth a little bit more as the years progress.
Imagine being that author and just your PR person or your booking person or your publisher or whatever just hits you. Get an email one day and they're like, there's this French basketball player that's a big fan of yours, and would you be willing to meet him? And you're just like, I don't know, man. I mean, tell him to come to the signing. We're going to Barnes and Noble next week, and I tell him to get in line. They're like, no, this is Victor Wembanyama. You're like, who? That the character that I introduced on page 263? They're like, no, the global phenom. What a cool little story. I mean, seriously, he's such an interesting person.
As we sit, Spurs headed into the lottery. They own the 5th worst record in the NBA. Their pick has a chance to land anywhere from 1st to 9th. As far as first pick and second pick and third pick and fourth pick, all about a 10% chance for all of those. The 5th pick at 2.2%. The 6th pick, they have a 19% chance at 6. A 7th pick at 26. And then after that 8, you get a lesser chance. And the 9th would be almost nil. That doesn't look like they'll fall that far. Last year, the Portland Trailblazers sat where the Spurs sit today. They ended up drafting 3rd. The Indianapolis Pacers in 2022 dropped from 5th to 6th. In 2021, the Cleveland Cavaliers went from 5th to 3rd. So, you know where you land. For the most part, the 5th place seed seems to jump up just a little bit. So there might be. Well, I mean, this draft, among others, its beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There is no separator. There really is not one guy that you go, he's the one. We're all playing for him, or not playing, depending on how you define it. But so there's not that. I can tell you this, when it's like this, where you've got long-term prospects that you got briskets, it makes it easier on a GM initially, but harder in the long term. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure how many of the lottery picks are even going to be in the league in about 3 years. I mean, there's just really not a whole lot there. So best case scenario is not only that the Spurs jump up to 3rd and maybe get their pick amongst whatever they're prettiest, but I don't want to see anything of this Toronto pick. The more pressing need about the Spurs this year is that deal that they made with Toronto. It's a top 6 protected pick. So if Toronto's selection is 7th or later, it's going to go to San Antonio. We want them to get that 6th or higher. We want them to jump up. Spurs have a 54% chance of acquiring the pick. So 46% chance that the Raptors are going to fall out of the 6, and the Spurs are going to end up drafting 2 in the top 10. Which ordinarily you'd be celebrating. And, there was a pretty happy press conference the other day. Do you trust Brian Wright to make this pick? Just on the top of your mind, you go, oh, Brian, oh, they got it.
I don't want to act like the Spurs are bad at drafting and only lucked out with Wemby because they won the lottery. Okay, I think that would be disingenuous. But do you feel like they're a great drafting team?
Well, it's such a hard thing to say because there are two kinds of great drafting teams. There's the teams like Detroit who are forever in the top 5 and draft the names that everybody go, oh, yeah, that's a great pick. But none of it works. Or there's the kind of team like the Spurs, or I'll put Boston or Miami, where they just go find guys. Those are the drafters. It's easy to pick out good talent. So I'm not sure the Spurs for the longest time were great at finding good guys because they, there were no expectations at 28. So you know what I mean? But they consistently found dudes that worked. They're good at that. They haven't proven to be overly successful judging against all the good talent, like picking the prime meat. They haven't proven that they can see great talent and see how it will apply. And maybe part of that is it's such a moving target for what the team's going to look like. But really, when you go down the list of the first round draft picks over the years, there's nothing to write home about. There's Lonnie Walker still in the league. What's the other kid? The guy's long gone. Primo, of course, we got an issue there, but that's a whole other thing. So I'm not sure if I distrust, but they haven't proven to me yet that they can spot talent that is applicable to their needs. I mean, anybody can see a good basketball player.
Well, and anybody can draft Wemby, right? I mean, that's a whole different anybody thing. And so it's not that I don't trust the Spurs specifically, although I don't, but and Brian Wright, but it's hard to trust a lot of teams. I mean, because like, who is the team in called the last 5-6 years that I guess Oklahoma City would be the answer, which is also terrifying as we've discussed. But who is the team that you look at and say, man, they killed that draft and it completely changed their fortune?
Well, Orlando has done a pretty decent job of the slow burn. I would say they've done they don't jump off the page. It's not like you see them and suddenly they're good. But over the last 3 to 4 years, they've kind of adjusted their draft strategy. They had a type for a while in Orlando. Everybody was real tall. They just wanted tall and we'll figure it out. And they kind of adjusted that with drafting some point guards. So I'm going to give them some credit. I mean, they got to pick Paolo Blanchero. It's another one of those. He was by far the best guy out there, and they got him, and he proved to be that good. But I will say that they've slowly improved their way finding the proper draft. Jalen Suggs and finding point guards to kind of play along. So I'll give them some love. Everybody's got their diamonds in the rough. Well, there was a good example last night of Sacramento. I think they've drafted and traded very appropriately over the last couple of years. It's just, some of these teams have to build. But, the NBA, here's the thing about the NBA, though. We're going to have 30 number 1 picks come out. And of those 30, there are going to be 5 players of substance come out of this draft. And 25 will just be names that will pass in the night and 20 of them won't even sign a second contract.
Then, yeah. I mean, in addition to not really trusting based on recent history, this is a thicker haystack to find the needle.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you don't trust in general the ability to find the needle, now you're exacerbating the haystackness of the haystack.
You're right.
And so
but I don't
trust
the
situation at all.
As a guy that's had to put together when you go and you're putting together a team, and whether it's kindergarten, well, not say competitive basketball, whether it's 7th graders or seniors. You have all these guys, and you can obviously tell the group that has talent. You can just tell. That's easy. You can find those. But putting together a team with guys with different kinds of talents and to have them all work together, that's the real magic. And I think that this kind of draft, there is a bit of cover because there's no pressure on whoever is going to end up with a number 1 overall pick to get that guy. That guy, I mean, There's either no pressure or all the pressure, and Wemby was easy. But to go get a guy to get better, because there is no one guy out there that everybody points at and says, that's the guy for you. So I think it provides a little bit of cover for GMs because they can say, well, everybody's even. I drafted this guy because he fits best on our team. So I think you can draft appropriately to your team's needs without having to get lost in, well, he's not the best player. You missed on the best player. Well, the best player was in your eyes. There's no numbers that tell me anything different. So I'm going to draft appropriately to my team's needs. And if you get to do that, sometimes you can, you get a little bit of cover and you do a better job other than he's the most talented guy. You got to get him and make him fit. Well, find a guy that already kind of fits. And you can do that, I think, starting at about pick 4 or 5 at that moment. It's whatever you think looks good.
It's so scary to trust this whole process because we finally there's finally something to lose. You know what I mean? It's a different thing when you're wandering in the desert and you're wandering in the darkness. It's just like, oh, hopefully we hope, it's like when you're on Survivor. I know you still are like, now it's not even worth.
I'm like 5 episodes behind. I saw it.
Yeah, it's not. It's never gonna happen. Just
I'll watch
delete the recordings
before I see this
yeah.
season.
So, but it's like when people are on Survivor and they're so desperate and they're messing with the flint and they get just the tiniest flicker of a flame and how it represents such hope. We're not in that boat. Like we have a flame. We have a bonfire going, and so now it's just a matter. It's actually not quite a bonfire, but we have a flame. So now it's nursing the flame. Now you have to add some husk. You know what I mean? You have to build a little bit of a thing here so that it can live and thrive and provide warmth for you. And so nobody needs a hero here. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to reach beyond whatever normalcy in the name of pulling something incredible off. And that's why my biggest concern is that they're going to forego most of veteran acquisition. And they're going to rely too much on this and put too many eggs in this basket, and we're going to lose another season.
Well, here is the good news. If you looking at the numbers, let's just say the Spurs end up drafting at 5. I think that's an appropriate look. We're not asking for much. I don't think they're going to jump up to 3. It's possible, but I also don't think they're going to fall to 8th or 9th. So let's just throw 5. With that in mind, over the last 10 years, these are the guys that have gone at the 5th pick. Last year, Asir Thompson. Year before, Jaden Ivey. Jalen Suggs, Isaac Okoro, Darius Garland in 2019, Trae Young in 2018, De'Aaron Fox, we saw him last night at 2017, Chris Dunn at Minnesota. Then now we're getting a little skinny. 2015, Mario Hezonja, 2014, Dante Exum. He's still in the league, but, bounced around for a long time. Combined at the 5th pick over the last 10 years, 5 All-Star appearances, 2 third-team All-NBA. So of that, just about everybody I named are players that do make a difference. So while this year might be different over the last 10 years, skinny draft, fat draft, highly talented, whatever it might be, consistently there's NBA guys at 5. That's the good news.
The bad?
The bad news is I don't know if Brian Wright's capable of finding that guy. And I'm not saying he can't. But this draft is going to feel very much like Jeremy Sohan, where you see him and they draft him and you're like, what? Okay, let's hope that you see something that I don't.
I mean, if you have a Jeremy Sohan draft, it's not the end of the world for you as a franchise. Like that sounds so much worse than it is. It sounds meaner than it should be. But you're not that away. You know what I'm saying? Like you're within range for competing now.
Are we? No, that's another thing I want to talk about. After watching the play-in games last night, we're not far from those guys. We're really not. We're not very far away from what I saw from Sacramento or Golden State or the Pelicans.
Right.
I mean, they're really not. But we have to remember, that's the play-in rosters. Those are the guys that that was not good basketball last night. It was entertaining basketball, but I wouldn't call last night precision basketball by all that played. They're far away from what we saw just a couple of days before from those teams that are sitting first, second, and third. There's a reason why they were playing yesterday. So to say we're not very far from them, we better not be very far because they're all not very good. So we're not very far from them. Well, we're a long way from being what we saw just from the other teams that were sitting and watching like we were last night. So let's judge where we are appropriate. We can get to where they are. We better be real near what we saw yesterday next year. We better be.
And let's just use Jeremy Sohan's name and sort of talent as a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a Jeremy Sohan away?
Yes.
Another Jeremy Sohan away.
They are an appropriate draft because there's no stars. And I'm still I'm about 80% on Jeremy even today. Because
if that's all they add is Jeremy Sohan 2.0.
That's all they're gonna get, enough? Man. No,
but I'm saying because they're all the reports are they're not going to dabble in free agency. They're not going to trade, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that would feel like such a letdown if that's all they added.
Well, RJ, I'm going to warn you. I feel it's coming that way. And I think what the draft that they're going to bring in, because there are no stars and because the top 5 by most are looking like Euro guys that are going to have to be briskets, the Spurs are going to draft somebody in a very high place, 4, 6, 4, 5, whatever it might be, that we go, Now, it could be a guy like Dalton Connect, who we know exactly the skill they drafted him for. That dude is coming to shoot. Or it could be a 7-foot vacuum that we go, that guy is coming in. We know what he's going to do. Or it could be a guy like Jeremy Sohan, a 6'11 guy who's got a little bit of skill, or a 6'7 guy, a little bit of skill that can do a lot of different things. And we're like, okay, I see what you got. Now, how are you going to use it? We can look at that, and both of them could be successful, and we're not going to know immediately because, again, this is a weird draft. There's just nobody great. There's a lot of good, and so much of it will rely on player and situation they land in.
Then that shouldn't be the primary way you build up your team this offseason.
Well, that's why they're saying wait a year. That's why they're going, you know what, this draft is just
other
not
things. You don't have to do just draft related. You don't have to just throw away another year.
Well, I don't think
because the draft talent wasn't that great.
Like I said, if they draft appropriately, there is no reason they won't be playing in a play-in game. They might still have a losing record, but just Victor getting older and being who Wemby is going to add 8 games next year, 9 games. There'll be 9 games we win just because he's Wemby. So can we draft a guy that's going to add another 4 or 5? Now we're in the play-in.
That doesn't feel like enough. I mean, with what we have going on here. I mean, if the Spurs are in the play-in game next year, is that a success?
Yes.
I disagree. That's too low of a bar. That's way too low. They have to be a tried and true playoff team, independent of the
in 2 years
format. No, in a year from now.
That's what I'm saying. In Wemby's first 2 years, they need to be tried and true playoff, and they will be if they get in the play-in. But dude, I think
they're
your
not.
sights are a
You've
little high.
been saying the last few days how it's not the playoffs.
It's not. But I'm saying I think to expect anything more than about 8 or I'd say 15 win improvement
he's
if they draft appropriately.
5 player in the NBA, top 5. You have to give him more than that. You have to give him more than just enough talent to get into the play-in game.
37 wins next year. That's a couple away from 500. I would not be upset with that at all. 15, adding low, 15 wins. 37 in a play-in scenario, I think they're right on schedule. And that's when you can go get the free agent that will build it. That's the schedule that appears that they're on.
You're the brisket seeker. That's what you want.
I don't know if I'm seeking the brisket. I think I'm resigned to the fact that that's what it's going to be.
Maybe to be fair, in the brisket analogy, it's been on for a few hours. Like, you're kind of stuck right now.
Yeah.
Like, you can't eat anything, because I put it on earlier this morning and it's only been
I got
5
some
hours,
time I'm going to have to wait. And then I'm going to have to fight through the stall, which will be some kind of bad pick here in a year or so. And then we'll fight through that. But I can tell you that I think everybody that walked away from Sunday or Monday's postmortem, I couldn't get over the fact that how happy everybody was, how upbeat the entire roster of team and owner, and because we only did win 22 games. I mean, we're the 5th worst team in the league, and everybody around us is furious at themselves, at their coaches, at their players, yet us alone, we're happy with where we sit. So I think that they've resolved themselves like, hey, man, we're right on schedule, and anything that happens to speed things up, great, but we're still moving along with a 3-year plan.
It's just, it doesn't have to be this
way.
I
believe that if drafting appropriately, they can add those extra wins to get to about 37 to 38 wins. And after what we witnessed to close the season down, I think that's possible. 500 basketball. Now, we have to hope that most of the teams we play are using most of their G League guys.
Wow. Well, let's hope that we can be a 500 team next year with one of the very best players in the world.
And given the numbers, that's playing realm. Sadly,
what you're saying
the
is
fight
like,
that is the West.
What you're doing is like your wife is like, okay, we're gonna prepare dinner. And she's like, I got the filet mignon. You do the sides. You're like, great. And you just went and got a freeze, bag of French fries and laid them on a cookie sheet and threw them in the oven. You're like, there's our meal.
I understand that there's a timing involved and there's other things that are in play other than me. And I could get my team as good as I possibly can in a year by adding whatever free agents I can pull in, by going and drafting the very best guy that'll fit our team perfectly, whoever that is. And you know what? I've still got to go against Denver. I've still got to go against the Timberwolves. I still have to go against those rising teams in the West on a regular basis. I got to hang on against the Phoenix Suns. I still got the Clippers to contend with. There's going to be years before there's even room at the top. So I think the Spurs looked around and said, Minnesota's on the ascendance. We know what Dallas is doing with Luka. We watch Houston with all these young guys. We're on a destination with them, not who's currently on top. So our schedule is one thing. Our talent development's another thing.
This is such a loser mentality.
No, it's not. It's an appropriate way to build.
We have to wait for everything to line up our way.
You are getting exactly what's coming. You just got to do it right.
And what happens if you're that patient and you wait for everyone and everyone else to not be good so you can be the only good team left, and then somebody gets hurt or a million different things happen?
All of that is all true. I'm not saying that the planning is false, but I do understand the environs of where I live. And if it's going to take a slow build while I get myself better and wait for the attrition to inevitably occur at the top, timing is not everything, but it's a lot.
It's going to be disappointing if 37 wins is the goal. 500 basketball. Hang the banner.
It's a marked improvement.
We are frauds.
We chase improvement because it's a 365-day-a-year proposition.
Shut up. No, stop.
The Dallas Cowboys are forever on the talent hunt, as proved by last night. We got a late ticker that showed the Cowboys are constantly searching the wires for available talent, and they got themselves a running back. We're going to hear from Stephen Jones, and we're going to talk about accountability. Hold on tight. It's coming around the bend. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Kinetico is my water softener of choice, and most of my neighbors are the same way. I live out on a well, and I cannot imagine not having a Kinetico for all the reasons you should have one wherever you live in South Central Texas. The water that comes through that limestone gets filtered pretty and turns into some fine sweet tea and nice light beer, but I'll tell you what, the stuff that comes out of our aquifer and ends in our pipes, it is crazy. If you've seen that white stuff on your dishes, that's from your water. If you felt that stuff on your skin and your hair feels a little dry all the time, that's from your water. That's the stuff you're drinking. Think about that. Get a Kinetico, man. Don't worry about that anymore. I know I don't. Kinetico been taking care of San Antonio for a long time, and they want to offer you something that just about unheralded. Find out what a Kinetico can do for you by having one put in your home with no commitment from you. The Knippas will send out one of their great technicians. They're going to put a Kinetico in your home for 90 days if you call them today at 656-PURE, 656-PURE. They're going to prove to you what I know. It's the water softener you need. You don't plug it in. It doesn't use much salt. This kinetic energy thing works, and I'll tell you what, your pipes are going to be thanking you for it as well. Call Kinetico today. Get yourself a Kinetico water softener, and I know you're going to thank me later.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
94.1 FM.
San Antonio Sports Star.
You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
It's the Morning Huddle. Here on San Antonio Sports Star. We're just a couple hours away from the official beginning of Fiesta tomorrow night as Fiesta begins in full swing. The Blitz will be broadcasting live. I will be drinking beside them. at the Taste of the North sign. The Brighton SA.org is the site to go buy your tickets. Fiesta, party with a purpose. I can't wait. Yes, I'm not in my official Fiesta garb, though. I'm feeling very Fiesta-ish today. Someone put something on the scroll regarding my shirt. No, it's just a Wednesday shirt. I'm celebrating the fact that I'm taking a couple of days in celebration of the beginning of Fiesta. I'm playing my Mike Greenberg card. I'm going to just not work for the next couple of days. Been busy.
So I wouldn't say this is not breaking news. Okay, but it is definitely worthy of discussion.
Oh, good.
So this morning, massive article at ESPN came out about an hour ago. No difficult to read something that's like 10,000 words when you're on the radio. Written by Don Van Natta Jr., one of the more preeminent journalists at the Worldwide Leader. In case anybody doesn't know that name, he is the person writing the I don't know if it's an autobiography or whatever on Jerry Jones that is set to come
is
out.
it an authorized or unauthorized?
I believe it's there's some, but Don has done a lot of work around the Joneses and a lot of things. But so this article it's the sub credit is reported by Don Van Natta Jr., Seth Wickersham. So anytime you get a Seth Wickersham piece like this, it's massive. And Jeremy Fowler, one of ESPN's most foremost NFL insiders. It is called, speaking of Survivor, voted off the island inside Bill Belichick's failed job hunt. Okay, so it's all. So this article details his falling out with the New England Patriots, obviously, and everything that happened. Again, how he was voted off the proverbial island. It says at different points here. In the coming weeks, he's expected to sign a deal to do analysis for Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions, which, by the way, works in partnership with ESPN. So, read into that what you will. He is believed to be biding his time until next January for openings on teams he has told confidants he would be interested in coaching: the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Giants. Now, for the young crowd out there, Bill Belichick, once upon a time, was the defensive coordinator of the New York Football Giants, won 2 Super Bowls, the D2 that they won in the 1980s with Bill Parcells at the helm. Belichick idolized Parcells. Parcells, once upon a time, left his post as the head coach of the New England Patriots and several other places to go and become the head coach of the Cowboys. It makes sense that that he would have interest here. And the Cowboys and Eagles, and I guess I would throw the Giants, are all in situations where they might be saying goodbye to their current head coaches in as soon as this regular season is over, if not beforehand. So there is going to remember a few years ago when every corner brought Sean Payton rumors and words and whispers and whatnot. This is going to be that on Nas, dude. I mean, we are going to get Bill Belichick out, but it seems that there is life to the idea that he could be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2025.
So what do you take from it? What is that? Are you happy?
I mean, I'm not going to act like Bill Belichick sucks, right? Like that's not my position here.
Because I'm kind of with you. I don't know what to make of this.
I always thought the Sean Payton carrot was interesting because Sean Payton is Mike McCarthy with better PR. That's like, for anyone who's unaware of that, Sean Payton's Super Bowl win is older than Mike McCarthy's. He has also had less success overall than everybody criticizes Mike McCarthy for not accomplishing more with Aaron Rodgers, but nobody has a word to say about Sean Payton not accomplishing more with Drew Brees. In fact, there was a stretch in time where the New Orleans Saints went 7-9, 3 years in a row. But not a peep. So whenever Sean Payton's name came up, it was, he's so much better. We have to go get Sean Payton. He's better than Mike McCarthy. So it's never in on that. Obviously, Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. And so on one, hand, you tell yourself, well, yeah, I'd rather have that dude. But this would be, the circus of all circuses. This would just be chaos at every corner.
But
because
that kind of define what they are?
It does. And I really, on a human level, feel badly for Mike McCarthy that he had to put up with the Sean Payton stuff, and now he has to put up with this Bill Belichick stuff. And before, people like, thank you, Mike, people like me could at least appropriately defend him against Sean Payton. You can't defend anybody against Bill Belichick because he's the greatest coach of all time. And what's unnerving is he's obviously not had success as of late. So are you just chasing the name? Are you just chasing, the prestige? Because it's quite possible that he might not be a very good NFL head coach right now. Or it's possible that this article details, by the way, how Robert Kraft called Arthur Blank to warn him not to trust Bill Belichick. And that Robert Kraft was allegedly a big reason why the Falcons decided not to hire Bill Belichick. And so is it just is he the source of, consternation here? Is he the reason why Bill Belichick didn't get a job this cycle? Or has Bill really lost it? And how much control does Bill? The most optimistic thing that I feel is Bill would clearly want a high level of control. Let's do it, man. I mean, people are so like, I don't want to turn the draft process over to Bill. I'm so scared about, letting him draft. Who cares, man? I mean, we're lost at sea. I'm willing to sail in any direction at this point in time. So if that's what it takes, so be it. I feel badly for Mike, but I would not be bummed if this ultimately happened.
You and I, first of all, I respect Mike McCarthy for what he's had to go through. But, if we want this to go away, win a playoff game, get to the Super Bowl, we'll stop.
He has won a playoff game.
Well, I'm just saying, get to the Super Bowl is what I'm getting to. Win a conference championship. If you want it to go away, Mike, that'll go away. You can take care of that by winning. But other stuff, yeah, it's completely out of your control. But, dude, you knew what you were getting into. So I'm still kind of feel bad about it. But I will say this. I was violently opposed to Bill Belichick a year ago. 6 months ago, I just felt like what's going down in New England, he's going to have to take a deep breath, go away for a little while, and kind of reevaluate. Kind of a Mike McCarthy thing, not to adjust who you are. But I will say that if you want to go get a guy who will work on a skin and bones kind of contract, who is an expert at going and getting guys off the scrap heap to do a job appropriate to their, what they're capable of, and go win some football games with pieces and parts, I don't think there's anybody out there better than him. I really don't. Even now. Now, I think the game has changed a little bit, and I do think that there's some other stuff going on that quite frankly, he hadn't kept up with. But if you're looking for a guy who can keep the wheels on a track and go get talent to just fit peculiar and specific things, there's nobody better than Bill Belichick. Now, drafting and all that other stuff, I don't know. But I'll also add one more thing into it. I heard some sound that obviously is old. We've got War Room sound from last year, where it's Jerry and Steven and McCarthy and I guess Will McClay sitting in there. We don't need to play it all. But what I took away from it is, and I think one of the problems that Jerry and Steven run into, as do most people who own the company, is they're all surrounded by a bunch of yes men. A bunch of guys that, hey, man, it's just about my job. It's about my daddy. It's about no repercussions for a wrong answer. But for those that are, living in the shadow of the Jones boys, just keep agreeing with them and don't get in trouble. I don't think Belichick would sit in a war room and agree with everything that Jerry said. And to me, that might be enough to go get him.
It's hard to say unequivocally that anybody is a yes man or whatever around the Joneses. Now, I don't know that Mike McCarthy wields his Super Bowl ring the way that Bill Parcells did.
Yep.
Because Bill Parcells had a real attitude of like, look what I have.
Yes.
You don't. So you shut up
and
back off
and watch me play. Yes. Yeah.
Mike McCarthy
We've established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
See?
He isn't as publicly staunch in this as Parcells was. Mm-hmm. And we don't know that Belichick would be that way. But Belichick, for what it's worth, has had a nightmare of a time post Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he wanted to do it his way, Sinatra style. He brought it back, Matt Patricia and all that jazz, and it was all horrible. I mean, if you sign up, you're signing up for the full thing. I mean, he's 72 years old.
I agree.
I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, like, it's just a really precarious thing to bet on. Now, if you really want, can you please put your hat on? Because this is a little bit conspiracy theory-ish, just a little bit. You got to walk with me just a teeny tiny bit. No hat for you, huh? Okay, that's fine. Whatever. But we didn't talk about this last week, but we kind of rolled our eyes at the Tom Brady. I could come back. I could still. Oh, we did talk about it because you stupidly doubted him, and we're like, oh no, he couldn't do this. Blah blah.
He still can.
Anyway, if you want to see the internet, Bill Belichick comes back. Dak Prescott's off and away in free agency. Tom Brady comes out of retirement. I mean, holy crap. No, I don't think that the Brady part. I mean, I'm joking about the Brady part of it. But,
if it goes the way we expect it to go, RJ, if it does go the way, because it feels like Jerry's scuttling the boat. He's not saying it overtly, but he's walking around with a life vest on. I don't know why. But if it goes the way that this season appears to go, where there's still no talk about Dak, and they'll come in and the free agency will end, or some kind of deal will happen in training camp, and they'll draft appropriately, but not greatly, and they're going to be average and not in the playoffs or play. Just something weird will happen, and the things blow up. I think we'll all be happy Belichick's on his way,
dude. But see, imagine you're Belichick, and it's fine if you're Belichick, but you're looking at Mike. They're giving him nobody. They gave him Royce Freeman on April 16th.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? They're giving him nobody when he himself is lost at sea, giving him no life preserver. They're just watching him flounder. In fact, they're almost kind of forcing him to flounder. They've got his quarterback in a contract year. They've got his star wide receiver in a contract year. They've got his best pass rusher not extended as soon as possible so as to take appropriate advantage of it. Why would... I mean, I hate to say this. I really do. But if the choice for you, because we don't know what other openings or vacancies there would be, the Philadelphia Eagles are on that list too. If the choice is Dallas or Philadelphia, one of the most forward-thinking front offices in the NFL, is it really a choice? You know what I mean? If you're Bill Belichick, you don't need the fame. You don't need the headaches. You don't need Jerry Jones going on the radio bi-weekly. You know what I mean? You need to go somewhere that just wants to work and just wants to make the football the football. And so, I mean, if the threat or the lure, the carrot of Belichick forces the Cowboys to change, then I suppose it will have all been worth it. But man, I mean, I just can't imagine why the greatest coach of all time would want to get in bed with all this.
Other than just to get some shine back on the trophy, because right now it doesn't look good for Belichick. And if he could achieve this, if he could pull the turnaround, it might be exactly what these two entities need: the brand that is Belichick and the brand that is the Cowboys.
If he could match, because Tom Brady left and did it right, but he did it for the baby bucks. You know what I'm saying? If you're Belichick and you go do it, if you're the guy who pioneers the Cowboys back to relevancy, that is a greater accomplishment than what Tom Brady did in Tampa Bay, right? If you take the Cowboys back to the promised land, if we're measuring Brady against Belichick, the Belichick accomplishment, even though it would have taken longer to get there, is of much greater quality.
It can. With one team, one season, that whole narrative flips back to what Belichick was, the greatest of all time. The coach of the season of the year last year in college football, he's long gone. He's in San Diego, but Harbaugh's legacy lives on in Michigan. The big bad NCAA came with punishment, and are we afraid? Boy, I'm afraid of what they could do to you. Look what they did to Michigan. We'll talk about the penalties of winning a national championship coming up next. You're on the Morning Huddle, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, it's Wednesdays, and that means it's special because it's Wednesdays with Wade.
We will talk with the San Antonio Brahmas head coach at 4:35. Plus, we'll get you ready for the East Play-In tournament. And yeah, we'll talk Cowboys because it's the Blitz. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
The truck driver from Texas who was listening to a woman's podcast in Seattle starts communicating with her, and he turns into a stalker. So he drives up to Seattle, and he kills her and her husband.
Oh, my God. Must have been a bad podcast. The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Puro San Antonio football returns to the Alamo Dome this Saturday night as the San Antonio Brahmas play host to the Michigan Panthers. Pack the Dome for a 6 p.m. kickoff. Follow the Brahmas social channels for a link to get your Brahmas Fiesta medal with your tickets. Experience the excitement. Buy your tickets now at theufl.com. Come watch Coach Wade Phillips lead the Brahmas to take on the Michigan Panthers Saturday night at 6 in the Dome. Get your tickets now at theufl.com. Vamos Brahmas!
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you are a family member and needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. He's RJ. I'm Rob. Thanks for joining us today. In a little under an hour, about 8:45, Dr. Jason Garrett's going to get here. We're going to talk hammies or lower leg soreness. Zion left the play-in fake playoff game last night after scoring 40 and with a tweaked lower leg. We'll talk with Dr. Garrett, about getting back in the game along with other stars in just a minute. Michigan is not going to mess around with the NCAA anymore. They received their punishment for playing under the Harbaugh regime over the last couple of years. What was it, like 3 years probation? This is all done during COVID.
I mean, the punishments were so little and so few, and probably more so because Jim ran to the NFL. And is there a Wolverine out there that cares?
Well,
is there a Wolverine out there that is mad? No, nobody cares. Everybody got what they wanted, including the NCAA. Everybody, Michigan got their title, their natty. They got their moment for Harbaugh and for everybody involved. They're atop the college football kingdom. They got to watch Jim head to the Chargers, where they'll root for him now, a different shade of blue. They got, the new head coach in waiting who they love and get to kind of root for now. And now they have this finally put to bed, and it's a whole bunch of nothing, which justifies all of their defense of it. Like, this was nothing. That I'm just saying, like, this kind of presents it as being nothing. It's not a significant punishment at all.
It's not. It's a slap on the wrist. Now, I will say this has nothing to do with the sign stealing. This is the other stuff. This was the recruiting and the phone calls and the travel and stuff that every college football program goes, and we all went, "Pfeh." But this doesn't have anything to do with the outright cheating that they have been accused of. The alleged dressing up in other coaches' outfits, clothes, and standing on the sidelines, to paying guys to fly around the country and videotape the sidelines with their signs and their all this other kind of stuff you can decide is whether it's immoral or moral. Some of it's just strategery. Hey, I'm scouting. And if you don't like it, change your signals. But, and I get that, but this doesn't have anything to do with that. And that I'm eager to see how that shakes out, because that might be past what most people will accept.
I mean, I don't think anybody will care. If you were a Michigan fan, is there anything that could happen that would bother you?
No, I got the trophy, baby. Scoreboard. And I agree.
Yeah.
Expunge what you want, take off whatever. I got the shirt and I got the highlights to prove we got the championship.
Exactly. It wasn't even it wasn't even close. It was so, bring on whatever. I mean, if we're whatever.
And we is so patently wrong for the coach that was over all of this to suffer absolutely zero if he is left for another job. And I do think that if you are in college and you are a head coach of it at an institution that was proven to be lawless, that it was proven to be you were breaking rules and you had full knowledge of it, that same penalty should be applied to you wherever you are. That your crime should, in fact, follow you. You can't just leave and it's dry erased off and you got nothing sticking to you. That's the problem with a lot of the college issues, is the ramifications don't follow the coaches, but they follow the players. We bitch about players leaving all the time. So if we want to do something about it, we won't. But because it's going to come out that Harbaugh stole signs. It's going to come out. We're going to find out that dude blatantly cheated, just like Belichick. They didn't follow him, though.
I mean, just like the Astros, whatever. I mean,
that's different. I like those guys.
What? No, but what I'm saying is, even them, they did it. I wouldn't say they did that again, but they won another title, and they were that great. Belichick did it again. Michigan will probably do it again.
Scoreboard, baby. He who wins writes the history. And coming back, his name is Royce Freeman, and he carried the ball for nearly 400 yards last year. Wonder how he'll look in a Cowboys jersey. The Cowboys doubled their free agent haul, got him a new running back. We're talking about it and hearing from Steven next. This is the Morning Huddle.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the NBA playoffs.
Down the middle of the lane, takes it right to the rim and flushes.
KTFM Floresville.
Diamonds Direct spring sale is here. Shop now and get an extra 20% off Diamonds Direct's renowned prices. It's the best sale of the season. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. That's 20% off plus $100 off store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, engagement rings, and more. And enjoy an expanded selection with designer appearances each weekend. 20% off now to April 21st and open Sundays. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If you think Taco Bell is only for late night, you are mistaken. Taco Bell is also for daytime, which is why it's introducing the new Cantina Chicken menu with new Cantina Chicken tacos, burrito, and quesadilla. And new ingredients like seasoned slow-roasted chicken, freshly prepared pico de gallo, shredded purple cabbage, and even a new avocado verde salsa packet. It's the Taco Bell for when it's not late night.
Whoa, not just late night. Try the new Cantina Chicken menu now. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations where supplies last. Contact store for participation with spares.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Febreze. Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA play-in tournament began last night, and the Lakers held off the New Orleans Pelicans 110-106. Zion Williamson injured in the effort. We'll see if he's available for Friday. The Sacramento Kings ended the Golden State Warriors season 118-94. The Houston Astros, well, had a tough day yesterday, and the Texas Rangers fell 4-2, while the Astros.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. It's the Morning Huddle. We got a bunch to talk about. That's RJ. I'm Rob. We call ourselves the Morning Huddle. Easy E drives this boat. We got a couple of hours. Make sure you've done your duties and locked down and get ready for liftoff. Make sure you have liked and listened and shared to all the stuff. Go to our YouTube feed. We are the Morning Huddle. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Follow the socials and do what you need. We get graded on such things this hour. We'll look at the brand new running back coming to the Cowboys and hear from Stephen Jones. Dr. Jason Garrett will be here about 8:45 as we look at the NBA play-in and soon-to-be playoffs. And get you ready for some fine basketball this evening as the East takes the stage, and it appears Milwaukee will be doing it without Giannis, no freak, but they will have Dollar Dame. Will that be enough? But first, his name is Royce Freeman. He is the prize pick of the Dallas Cowboys offseason work, although it is a 365 kind of deal. Though they went and got a running back. And on its face, anybody else, any other team brings in Royce Freeman, we go, oh, good, add some help. But for the Cowboys, it seems so little, so feeble in this ongoing effort that no disrespect to the man or his game. It just seems like, I don't know, define too little, too late.
I mean, it's both. Like sometimes too little, too late is said when it's just about being too late. You know what I'm saying? Right. But when it's actually too little on top of being too late, it emphasizes the littleness and the lateness. And so I don't like to say this kind of thing because it's so rude, but I would be stunned if Royce Freeman makes the team.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, what is the point here?
It feels like, what's his name? James Washington a couple years ago.
James Washington. Wow,
like, I know that name.
By you, Rob.
Like I know that name. I vaguely recall.
I'm gonna clap for my man Robbie T. Let's go. But I mean, and he did make the roster. To be clear,
but he never
didn't
played.
Play. He was hurt. He played like 5 minutes. I mean, the literal most like cup of coffee, kind of player you can come up with. And so, just like quickly off the top of that head, which deserves an applause again, would you rather keep on the roster Royce Freeman or Deuce Vaughn?
Well, probably Freeman. I mean, Deuce Vaughn's a good story.
I keep Deuce Vaughn.
I like him. Yeah, and
Deuce
this
is
new
still a lottery
kickoff,
ticket.
and this.
Yes. So okay, Deuce, Royce Freeman or Rico Dowdle?
I think they're the same guy. I really do.
And you know Rico Dowdle.
Yeah,
and he's on the books for cheap. So Rico Dowdle. Okay, Royce Freeman or a new draft pick?
Well, I've been told they're getting one.
So new draft pick, and then finally Royce Freeman or Hunter Lipke, your fullback extraordinaire.
Well, I'd rather have a linebacker than a fullback. So at that point, I'm taking Royce Freeman.
My point is, a lot would have to happen, I think, for Royce Freeman to make this roster.
That is just a distraction. It is the magician pointing over here while he palms the pigeon out of his jacket. Like, hey, look at this.
Do you ever, you ever like make it a point in your household to be like, well, honey, I folded the laundry. You announce like the most like mundane thing that you did to get some sort of props. Like, oh yeah, I emptied the dishwasher, and you're expecting her to be like, wow, well done. You really accomplished something. That's what this is. Like, dude, congrats. You signed Royce Freeman. Congrats. And this is actually the first external free agent signing who they have signed who didn't agree to terms with somebody else before them. Because Eric Kendricks agreed to terms with the 49ers earlier in the day when the Dallas Cowboys brought him in. And I feel badly because I'm happy for Royce Freeman. Got a job, getting paid, enjoy your life. But this is, dude, I mean, this ship is sinking so fast.
All right.
I mean,
let's talk about the accountability that someone of us feel is not. There's no accountability at the Star because as long as they're making money, that it seems to me to be the final answer. And Stephen talked about, well, in general, the accountability that needs to be applied to him, the staff, the team, the fans, everybody. Listen to this.
I feel as accountable as anybody in terms of the success of this franchise. And, of course, we want to have one of the top, if not the top franchise, in the country, if not the world. And I think, certainly I think we do in terms of what our brand's valued at. We certainly want to have more success on the field in terms of that part of it. But, as I said, we've had a lot of success during the regular season. We haven't had the success in the postseason. And we just, until we do that, we understand there'll be frustration. And I can tell you this, we'll be rolling up our sleeves and going to work.
It sounds like my 15-year-old son walking in with an F on his report card. You go, from here on out, man, I'm going to buckle down. Trust me, this is a 365 bit of effort. And keep in mind, I passed that quiz 3 weeks ago. That quiz I took, remember, I passed that. So I'm going to keep working. And, I feel the accountability. I feel it. So don't get mad at me. It's an everyday prayer, and I'm attacking today. I know I got an F. But today,
well, it's more than that. It's look, I know, I've said this before.
Right, I told you before.
This time, I'm really serious. I mean, I really mean it. I even wrote the plan down.
Serious. I'm serious about it this time.
It's it's the Will Arnett office. Well, I can't give you the plan.
Well,
until you give me the job.
Codicil. Okay, I'll give you one part of the plan. Codicil 5, subsection B, red sense tabs. Now, one other thing that really slipped out there. Oh, this one gets me. When he started talking about the brand and its value, I don't give a crap. Never tell me how proud you are of how valuable your franchise is ever again, because that means absolutely nothing to me. Nothing. In fact, it infuriates me when you tell me, well, hey, things are going pretty good over here. Did you hear him talk about the success they've had with the brand? Shut up.
I mean, how many times in your life have you ever, been in an argument with somebody who's not a Cowboys fan and then been like, yeah,
but look how
but
valuable.
we are worth more money than your team.
He is. I'm not.
Do they hang banners for this? Do you think they've considered hanging a banner? I bet you they have. I bet you they have.
A big green dollar sign.
There is such a lack of reading the room happening here. You know what most people would do? Shame is an emotion that all human beings feel, and I'm not going to pretend to be a psychologist, right? But because I'm certainly
but you
not
know
qualified,
one.
but
Pretty close.
But shame,
pretty well.
Right, but shame is an emotion that all human beings feel, and it has such a negative connotation because it's a negative emotion for the most part in terms of how we compartmentalize it, how we internalize it. But shame is an instructive emotion. Shame is a teaching tool, right? You can learn from shame. You don't always have to learn from shame, but right, it can be something that you derive wisdom from. And I would like to think that if it were me, and if it were you and me, right, we own the team, I would like to think that we would have sat down, had a heart-to-heart when the season ended and said, dude, this sucks, right? We cannot show our faces. We got to ostrich ourselves. We got to put our heads down and not be seen or heard from for a very, very long time. I'm asking the question in all seriousness. I know it sounds like a joke. What good came from Stephen Jones being on the radio yesterday? For like the good relative to the goal of the Dallas Cowboys.
It just reinforced the narrative.
Yeah, like exactly. It's same old losers. Everyone's all in. You know what I mean? Like you're just feeding the meme. You're just, you're throwing chum in the water right now. The whole reason that you're doing this. Oh, why are you getting back up on the seat over and over and over again for people to throw balls and dunk you in the water? I just don't understand what joy you're getting from this.
Oh, he hears you, RJ. Stephen hears our frustration when we complain about how much money they're making with inadequate effort to improve. Listen to accountability and what they're hearing.
That's not what I just said. I said that's part of it. I said the other part is the success on the field.
Oh.
And we certainly expect to have that, and certainly know that that's what our fans expect to have. As I said, I think over the last 3 years, we've won 36 games, but we hadn't had success in the playoffs. And we know until we do that, there's going to be frustration and certainly expectation to do better than that.
See,
I've listened to Stephen a lot, obviously, and I've listened to Jerry a lot. And that it wasn't a clapback, but that little
he got a little mad. Did you hear it? Yeah.
Oh, dude, there is some ornery, nature
That's
happening
not what
here.
I just said.
Oh, it wasn't. Sorry.
I'm telling you, like, there's a little, they're like, hey, keep talking about us, but don't none of this negative stuff. I mean, quit telling people about how bad we are. We've won 36 games in the last 3 years.
Think of the games we've won in October. They've been spectacular.
My dad has told me my whole life that, and the actual parlance is not fit for FCC guidelines, but one crap can wipe out 1 million attaboys.
Yep.
And dude, you've got 36 attaboys, and we patted you on the back for all of them, man. But you don't have one crap. You keep having these craps, and the craps are so much bigger. So we do not care. I never want to hear Stephen Jones tell me that they've won 36 games over the course of the last 3 years again. I don't need to hear that information anymore.
Tell me your record in January. That's all I want to know.
Ooh, drag them, Rob. Drag them.
That's all we want. Hey, coming back, while the Cowboy pain continues, the Spurs get a brief respite as the season is done. What do we expect? There's a meme. Well, it's a fake tweet that has to do about Wemby and his opinion of American women. Have you seen this?
No.
Well, it's not true. Okay. I'm just warning you that if you've seen it, I even had to ask, is this real? Did he say what I think he said? Well, he didn't say it, and we'll tell you what he didn't say coming up next. We're going to prove the negative. It is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star. I want to talk to you real quick about the Institute for Functional Health. My friend Dr. Jacob Torres down there. You know, as we head into the Fiesta season, I'm going to be eating a lot of things on a stick. I'm going to be eating some things that the doc might not be too happy with me about. But that's the great thing about going with a physician and a weight loss program, a healthy lifestyle program that understands we're human, that every now and then you should go out and enjoy yourself, just knowing that the ramifications need to be paid. There's a price to be paid for that. Now, I will say that with the IFF, I've never had a weigh-in day where I wanted to see if I could, or a cheat day. I live a life that involves so many more things that doesn't revolve around food. Do I love food? Absolutely. I eat healthier, but I still eat. And that's the great thing about the Institute for Functional Health is they understand we're human beings. And there are things that go into weight loss that are completely out of our control. You might be dealing with an underlying syndrome, a hormonal issue will keep you from losing weight. And that's why Dr. Torres has been so great with me, because you walk in the door, you get a full evaluation. You're going to figure out where you are and find out why you are the way you are and go to work. You'll put together a plan that fits exactly your lifestyle, your history, your biology, and go with the science of how you lose weight. And the end result is great success. Thousands of people just like you walked in the door thinking they couldn't or they wouldn't be able to. And just like me, the pounds started falling off and everything followed, feeling better and all the other stuff, the benefits of losing weight. I want that for you. And I want you to find out how I got where I got. Call Dr. Torres today. Sit down and talk with him. See the great facilities he's working with, the good staff he's got. The number you need is 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Listen close. If you've decided, if you've resolved it's time to lose weight, there's no better option out there. Call Dr. Torres today. He will change your life if you allow it to happen, and only good things will follow. I'm living proof. Call him today. Change your life. Thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it's Wednesdays, and that means it's special because Wednesdays with the San Antonio Brahmas head coach at 4:35. Plus, we'll get you ready for the East Play-In tournament. And yeah, we'll talk Cowboys because it's The Blitz. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We all expect our home to protect everything we love. But here in Texas, we don't expect the ways water is breaking down our foundations and damaging our homes. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is shifting. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Foundation Support Specialists. Make sure your investment is protected. Get your free inspection at foundationsupportspecialists.com.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. May 1st, Frostbank Center. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guest Cheap Trick. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Don't miss 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Heart with Cheap Trick live.
George Gets Justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George Gets Justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George Gets Justice. Getgeorge.com.
Progressive asks, what do a middle school slumber party,
Let's stay up all night. Yeah!
a sleep-deprived girl, an early morning paper route, and a poorly thrown rolled-up newspaper have in common?
Hey, my window!
They can become a fast-breaking news story.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at SanAntonioLASIK.com.
We're recording this Progressive commercial on a real boat to let people know that when you bundle your home, boat, and other vehicles...
What was that, Flo?
Progressive saves you money, Jamie.
Why are we doing this on a boat?
We were going for authenticity.
We're going to the city?
Authenticity.
You mean Atlantic City? But we're not in the Atlantic. Are we?
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Today at 4:35 on San Antonio Sports Star, it's Wednesdays with Wade. Brahma's head coach Wade Phillips joins the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yep, Wednesdays with Wade in force today. The Blitz will have Wade Phillips on. The Brahmas went down on Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. We expect to bounce back with Coach Phillips as the UFL continues. The Spurs season, she is done. To a whole bunch of fanfare for sure. But it's done, and here we sit as we head into the offseason. Does it feel like the season's over to you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, did it feel like the season ever really started for you?
Yeah, I mean, it started with great expectations. I think a lot of us, we never really checked out, but I think we understood the inevitable about middle of December. You know, it started.
I mean, it's been fun, but has it really been a serious thing? Like, have you taken it seriously? Have you lived and died with any Spurs game? Or did you live and die with any Spurs game?
It's funny how it kind of wound down because I think once we felt like Wemby had secured Rookie of the Year, you know,
Right.
that the work was done, that there weren't any playoffs imminent. There wasn't any All-NBA type. There wasn't anything to look forward to there. So once, you know, the Vegas types took it off the board, we kind of felt like, well, job done here. Let's look at how we're going to fix things. And Wemby gave us every opportunity to look at that because, well, he didn't, but everybody else was hurt. So he got to play about 10 games essentially as his own island, as a man in full. He got to do everything he wanted. Got to grab rebounds, take shots from logos, dribble up, just, you know, give the ball up, play point guard, play center, do everything, and kind of seal the fact that, yeah, the Spurs did everything correct this year, that he has grown in every facet. While the team didn't improve greatly, overall, they did over the last month for sure. Positive returns in every sense. So does it feel like the season is over? Yeah, it does. It feels like we are now, because there's so much to do, and we can't figure out the time frame that the Spurs view all this effort to do. Is it a fast fix? Is it a slow fix? Are we trading to get something? Are we imminently waving goodbye to some of these young dudes that are really becoming something, which they just might not become with us? I think we are.
So, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. The season felt complete, not over, when Wemby clinched effectively Rookie of the Year, obviously. And so I think in that moment, we started to look forward to now. And that's what's kind of helping, is we really, again, the wins against the Knicks were great, or the Nuggets were great. Those were fun moments where we kind of allowed ourselves to re-fall into the moment. But we've been very anxious for this, been very, operating in anticipation of this, of what's going to happen, of how they're going to build around this now. We know what we needed to know. We got the thing we needed to get out of the first year. I mean, this is the most important thing. Now it's at the most important time. Now we have to amplify, build upon the process that has a foundation. The foundation's laid. This is the slab. You know what I mean? You're building a house. You go like, I got the slab. Now it's time to get some walls up.
So here we sit. We focus on the draft. We wave goodbye and watch the Olympics. We heard from all the guys wave goodbye as they head into the wins. I think the next couple of days are going to be spent on heavy PR, and then things are going to get real quiet for until we head toward lottery. As we look at the lottery, looks like the Spurs are going to end up right in the middle there in that lottery, 4, 5, 6. In the past, the guys with the same percentages the Spurs have had, they've risen over the last couple of years. There's only one fall to 6. So the Spurs are going to be appropriate. I think we're going to pay much more attention to what happens in the Toronto poll in the lottery, because 2 top 10 picks certainly seem nice most years, just not this year. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like there's a lot there. Though, judging by those that are available, if you're a Dalton Connect fan, it might be that guy from Tennessee. I'm going to stand by Zach Edey. Let's trade down. Let's get us a pick. How much attention did you pay last night to the play-ins? It had an air of excitement as the night began. It did.
It was fun.
It was a fun night of basketball, but there was this nagging sense of, well, there's another day. Well,
I don't think it didn't feel like that to me. It felt playoff-ish. It felt like the first 4. You know what I mean? Like it had a different air of importance. It wasn't quite the same. Honestly, the weirdest thing in my mind was the SoFi playoff tournament. Well, this is for people's playoff lives, and we have to sponsor it and brand it. That's a weird choice.
They
but
get 3 days of buy-in.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Now I will enjoy them more on Friday when it's truly do or die, win or go home, whatever. And there's also something satisfying to finally knowing the playoff field. There's something about us that feels a little bit out of sorts because we don't know who's going to play who or whatever. I honestly think that might be a bit of a disadvantage. You shouldn't be the 1 or 2 seed and not know who you're playing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of silly that the 3 or 4 whoever seeds
can
have
do the
that
film
knowledge,
can do the scout and do all of that.
Yeah,
I agree.
Why are you put at a disadvantage of not knowing that? I understand that you get the advantage of quote unquote having the weaker team and the team that had to play their way in, but that kind of sucks. Everyone gets a week to prepare and you don't. So that stinks.
Tonight we kick off the eastern side of the play-in. 76ers and the Heat are going to square off tonight. We
are big Bulls fans tonight, Rob.
We are.
We want the Hawks to lose. We want Trey, chill. We want the Hawks to get embarrassed. We want the Hawks to get destroyed. So the Hawks say, you know what? Let's just get Trey out of here. Let's just rebuild. Let's move on. And Trey's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want anything to do with this. Give me to San Antonio. I want to play with Wemby. We are big Bulls fans tonight.
That is a novel approach. No, I hadn't really considered that, and I think that's viable because they're going to do anything. You get the sense it's going to involve Trey. The one takeaway from last night: did you follow the reffing in the Laker Pelican game?
I didn't. It didn't stir up emotions in me. I know that it greatly grinded your gears.
Well, Scott Foster, he is a throwback. Scott Foster was born too late. Scott should have been reffing in the 90s because there's no NBA referee like Scott Foster. Nobody will take over a game like Foster now. Now, used to, there's 3 or 4 guys in the league that when you watch the playoffs and you watch the reffing, you wanted to have certain guys. Like you wanted to have Steve Javie, a guy that name you see, he's like one of the guys that now ponders and pontificates about what a refs are calling. You always wanted him on the road. He was a road ref. He took care of you if you were on the road. You got to do, and you wouldn't let the other guys get away with it much. Scott Foster, I don't know what the hell he was doing last night. For one quarter, you swallow your whistle. The other quarter, you grab it. I just not enough to complain, but he was the lone kind of what the hell's going on last night, reffing. Kind of let things go. We're going to have Dr. Garrett join us in about 15 minutes. We're going to talk about Zion and his hammy and how we got to this place and what we expect with Wemby off the summer as he goes and tries to add strength, if not pounds. It's always great to talk with Dr. Garrett. But coming around to Ben, John Harbaugh got his comeuppance. Jim Harbaugh gets his comeuppance. I don't know what's going on in college football, but there were penalties laid. We'll look around the length and breadth of all the college sports as the Texas fans had a heck of a day in the transfer portal looking toward basketball. Spring games are in play and penalties are being laid. We'll talk some college sports as we head into the spring. And, oh, by the way, guess what the Texas A&M baseball team is ranked? We'll talk about that, too, coming next. You're on 94.1, and this is San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. and with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from the Blitz starting at 2 o'clock today. We'll get you ready for the East play-in games that are happening tonight. We'll talk Cowboys, of course, and it's Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He joins us at 4:35. Rob, I know they told you to clean up all your bobbleheads. You should probably sell those on Facebook Marketplace.
These are my treasures. I'm going to stand out in some parking lot. Riff's getting knifed over a Charlie Pride Rangers bobblehead, which beautiful thing if you had never seen it. This is why it pays to go to our YouTube channel. This is Charlie Pride in a Rangers uniform. Used to be a former owner. This is the value that we have on. We're remodeling our studios over the next couple of days. I got to move all my crap.
Wow. Well, maybe keep your toys in a box, Rob.
Michigan reached a settlement with the NCAA regarding recruiting violations over the past several years. They're going to pay a slap on the wrist. Tom Mars, Mr. Head Coach Jim Harbaugh's attorney, told ESPN that neither he nor Harbaugh knew about the agreement. But Michigan has come to a deal. Why would Harbaugh know? He's no longer of the employ. He's the guy behind all this. He's in San Diego, which I've never understood these, and no one does.
L.A., not San Diego.
It's still the Chargers. He's South L.A.
For some reason, people just can't grasp that.
I
don't know
can't,
what it is.
for whatever reason. I will of all the other teams, of all the
Right.
changes and moves, the Chargers one has been the most difficult to hold on to. And I'm talking about every other. I don't know why.
You never say St. Louis for the Rams.
I know.
Nobody ever does that. Even the Raiders, nobody's ever like Oakland. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. San Diego's that memorable.
It just fit for so long. But, he's gone. They're going to pay the price. Now, this has nothing to do with the sign stealing stuff. And I don't hold any ill will toward Harbaugh. He did what he had to do to go win a national championship. Nobody got ruined and nobody went to jail. They just got a little bit of extra money, a little bit of extra time. I don't see any problem with whatever they were in trouble for, other than they did things that other teams didn't, and that's a transgression, and you pay the price, whatever that might be. Lose some scholarships, carry on with your day. Now, the cheating part of this wasn't part of the settlement. They're still going to have to come to an answer with this. And then, if you're found cheating, that's an institutional thing. It's not just your head coach. I don't know what you do, but I would like to think it's going to be less than a few scholarships and 1 day less of practice kind of thing that Michigan's paying for. And expunging wins, do your best.
That's what I'm saying. Like, will it really bother anybody
No.
if they do anything? No, nobody will care. I mean, it will. I mean, does anybody even still? Is anybody like, well, Reggie Bush didn't win that Heisman? Have you ever known a human being who ever said that sentence?
No, those are, the same way when you expunge all the wins off of, like, the University of Michigan never won a basketball game the entire time Chris Webber was there. Like, Jalen Rose never won a game? Really? I seem to recall a bunch of wins. And the same thing went for Syracuse, all the losses that were taken off of Boeheim's long record, that he had to go win some more to catch back to the record that he'd already set. He had to set it again.
What is the equivalent of vacating wins in everyday life?
Faking the number of birthday candles you put on the cake to say you're something else.
That's a good one. I think a good, like a modern one is when you're on the phone, you're like, oh, I have another call coming in, and you really have nobody coming in. It's just like, I just really want to hang up with you.
A couple of players from Colorado have entered the transfer portal, and boy, the Sanders crew don't take kindly to people leaving.
There was, hang on, I'm looking for it.
This guy named
this was
Cormani
really-
McLean is planning to transfer. And was it Shadé Sanders that came out like, you either with us or against us? We're going.
So Shiloh Sanders posted
Shiloh.
on Instagram and put a Colorado logo and said, defense transfers DM me. Offense transfers DM should, and then he tagged Shadé Sanders. And then underneath in smaller font, he put in parentheses, this is not last chance you. Like,
it kind of feels like it is.
To specify that it's not last chance you kind of makes it seem like it's last chance you. I will forever enjoy getting to see the first few episodes of that with you specifically, because that coach was your spirit animal.
Oh,
man.
was he ever? Those were the good old days. And man,
opening scene in the hot tub with the cigar,
big cigar, and the hot tub out back. It was the
cussing out anybody who looked at him.
We went on to interview that cat. I interviewed him in LA at the Los Angeles Super Bowl. He hadn't changed for a couple of years, but I appreciate that Shadé. Oh, was it which one of the
It was
boys
Shiloh who said, this is not last chance you. Again, just in case anyone thinks this isn't that. This isn't I know this looks like a Monopoly. It's not Monopoly. I know what it looks like. It's not that.
Texas A&M is number 1 in the college baseball. We saw it coming. That is the biggest baseball team I've ever seen in college. I mean, they roll up sluggers like nobody's business, and you got to do it. Later on, we got to get to Oklahoma City, or to get it to Omaha. I'm sorry, we're not playing softball here. Get to Omaha, we'll see what happens. But hey, good news for you Aggie fans. That goes on the heels of some bad news. A&M got another portal exit. Jacoby Matthews entered his name into the transfer portal on Tuesday. He's the 19th scholarship player to enter the portal for the Aggies since November, when they waved goodbye to all that was Jimbo. I hate to say goodbye and good riddance, but the product of all things over the last several years just seems to be tainted. I don't know. Things change. You got a new coach in the building, and we'll see how it goes as the spring games are being played all around us in preparation. A lot more to cover. What's that?
I was just going to say on the subject of the Aggies ladies golf team fell in the SEC championship yesterday to Mississippi State. I watched that all afternoon.
Did you listen to Peter Burns all afternoon?
I watched him. I didn't have to listen to him. He was all over the place, and oh man, it was such a bummer. But it's hard fought tournament for the Ags.
Texas, just about their basketball program got a couple of kids declaring or transferring away, but they took the entire starting backcourt from Indiana State, the team that had featured Kareem, Cream Abdul-Jabbar. They didn't get him. They got the 2 guards that are transferring into Texas. I think it was a net positive for Coach Terry over the weekend. We do it every Wednesday. We talk injuries with Dr. Jason Garrett. Last night, watching the Pelicans Los Angeles Lakers basketball game. And Zion was everything Zion was supposed to be when he was drafted. 40 points. He was assisting. He was dunking. He defied gravity until he blew a hammy. Let's talk about whether he can get back in time, along with Giannis, with our resident expert and all-around good guy, Dr. Jason Garrett of Orozzi, joining us for his house call. Morning, Doc.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Post-NBA season in hand. Let's talk real quick about hamstrings. We saw Zion limp off the court last night. He was limping. He was still walking, but he was mad. Just by your eye, what do you see and expectations for that thick thigh and hammy back on Friday night?
Well, he's a unique athlete. I think you probably mentioned that. A guy that can be that explosive, that powerful at that weight is pretty uncharted territories, and that puts a tremendous amount of strain on any of the explosive muscles, especially the jumping muscles, which include the hamstring. And once you pop that, even if you didn't tear it, even if you just pulled it pretty badly and you're not completely disabled and laying on the ground, you literally can't play basketball. You can't function fully. You can't use it the way you want to use it. But usually somewhere between 2 and 8 weeks, depending on how bad and how aggressive you are with the treatment. So it's a wide window for him.
You know, I'm so mad at him, Doc, because I feel like, I never blame a player for injury. But I heard last night that he lost 25 pounds in season, that he's 25 pounds lighter than he was at the play-in tournament. And what do you when you see a player's weight fluctuate like that up and down, he's gonna get hurt, right? I mean, you just know you can't live that kind of life as an athlete and not expect there to be physical ramifications for that.
No, and I think he falls into the category of not the most disciplined athlete, and I think he really likes the food in New Orleans. They've tried to get him more disciplined. I mean, you're paying the guy that much money. It's not a big stretch to demand that he stays fit and eats healthy, especially if he's going to be representing you. You're spending a lot of money on him. It's his career. Like, just for his own personal self, there's clearly an issue there with the eating and the discipline. And you add 30 to 40 pounds on a frame that shouldn't be there. I mean, he really ballooned up over 300 pounds in the offseason, which at 6'6", he's not that big. That's a lot of extra weight. That's literally 40 pounds that he doesn't need to have, that he's carrying. It's going to create more tendonitis, more knee issues. He's already got the tear problems from being overweight. But yeah, if he loses that weight, I mean, it's frustrating to see someone that talented and that gifted physically just kind of not use it to its max.
Doc, we asked you about Giannis and his left calf strain recently, but playoffs going to start this weekend, and it was reported yesterday that he's going to miss the early portion of the first round. Our kind of guess and estimation is that would suggest that they want to get out of this first round nice and easy without having to bring him back. I mean, but the second round, even in that optimistic world, is like a week away. Do you think it's really bothering him that much? Do you think this is just leaning on the side of caution, or is it a little bit worth panic if you're a Bucks fan?
Well, remember Kevin Durant, he had a little bit of a calf strain right before he blew his Achilles tendon. That's always a risk, especially with NBA players. And the closer you get to the 30-year mark, the more likely you are going to have something like that. And the weird thing about calves is they can feel they can actually feel pretty much 100% pretty shortly after you strain them. But for some reason, the calf muscle, especially the soleus, where his injury is more likely to re-injure itself than other muscles. So he could feel great. He could be cleared to play, and then suddenly he just runs normally and pops it again. He's back, 4 to 6 weeks out. So I think being conservative is probably the really wise choice here.
I'm curious about that specific muscle you brought up. Is it because it does something differently? It fires quicker, that it's more like to, re-injure itself, even though it appears or even feels like it's healthy?
It's more of a postural endurance muscle. So if you think about the gastroc, the big ball muscle on the back of your calf,
right?
That's the explosive one. The one below that is the soleus. But both of those make up your Achilles tendon. They have to work together. But the gastroc if it's healthy and it's functioning well, it's going to be very explosive. If the soleus is a little bit hurt, it's slower to contract, so it's more likely to keep on re-injuring itself.
He is Dr. Jason Garrett of Arasti. He gives us a house call every week so we can see how our athletes are going to get themselves back in the game. Justin Verlander could be back in front of us and with the Nationals on Friday night. He didn't pitch well statistically in his rehab on Saturday against the Corpus Christi with the Hooks. Through 77 pitches. What's the process to bring an old guy back like that? Is it strictly pitch count, or how much of it is his feel?
It's his feel big time because he knows his arm. It's also the type of pitches. So if he's throwing max effort or close to it, that's much more important than how many pitches you throw. If he's throwing a lot of hard sliders, that puts way more stress on your shoulder and your elbow. And so it's really the type of pitches, the intensity of the pitches. Kind of like, the basketball players say, oh, he played 22 minutes. Yeah, but was it 22 minutes of 100% effort, or was it 22 minutes of kind of easy? It's really the intensity of you do versus the total.
Doc, this isn't necessarily an injury-related question, but it is related to like the physiologicalness of the body. We talked about the Masters last week. I don't know how much you follow the LPGA, but Nelly Korda going for her 5th win in a row, obviously her 2nd major championship in Houston. And every diagnosis I've seen about her swing has been that she wastes no body movement. How could an athlete train themselves to be that specific? Like because the body seems so unpredictable to me. How could you possibly set yourself up to be so robotic and motionless and not waste any kind of energy whatsoever?
Have you ever watched my swing?
Yeah. No, but I can imagine. If you're someone like a Fred Couples, for example, if you watch him play, smooth, effortless, hits 350-yard drives. Like, how is that possible? I mean, you see someone like Bryson DeChambeau, who's the engineer type, and he has reconstructed his swing. He's taken it on himself to look at every computer angle, every ball spin, the gravity of the earth, all those things to figure out how to hit the ball as far as you possibly can. You got two different kinds of people. One that are just naturally are able to whip the ball, or whip their arm, like the $1 million pitcher arm, or those that have the ability but maybe don't have the natural talent, and then can go through the process of the biomechanics and looking at ways to get better. In other words, there's really no good answer. Some of it's just absolute dedication. Some of it's just pure God-given skill.
That's why I don't like watching DeChambeau play. It's all watching him putt is just one of the more difficult things for me to do in any kind of sport. There's something about it that just, I don't know. And you're right. It is engineered. It is constructed. It doesn't feel fluid.
Yeah, I mean, he's figured it out, though. He knows physics, and he's got to be some sort of a genius to be able to do that on his own, because nobody else in the world is doing it, and then have the physical gifts to execute on it. It's impressive to be one of the best golfers in the world, be on the PGA Tour, and completely redo your swing in the middle of your career. That's not exactly recommended for most people. It usually doesn't work out well, but it's working pretty well for him.
All right, Doc, I have my weekly question about surgery and rehab and how we got to where we are. This is Braves pitcher Ozzie Albies. He fractured a big toe after being hit by a pitch. That's one thing, but I want to talk about Spencer Strider. He went and had surgery on his UCL after dealing with elbow discomfort, and they put some kind of brace in there, an internal brace, to help with the UCL collateral ligament repair. Is that like Tommy John, shoot of Tommy John, or is this something entirely different?
It is similar. So assuming that it's not completely ruptured, which it probably wasn't, they have developed some new techniques. They've been using it with quarterbacks mostly in college and NFL recently, and it's now transferred over to the major leagues. They take like a Kevlar mesh and they wrap it around the UCL, and then they put screws in the bones above and below it, and then it creates a much, much more resilient connective tissue, much more resilient ligament, and much less likely to tear. So it does seem to have a lot of promise. It could be, that becomes prophylactic in the future where guys are doing it to stay ahead of injuries.
Now he had Tommy John. Is this the typical follow-up to it, or can this be a precursor to that?
I don't know his exact situation, but if you have a Tommy John injury, it depends on where the ligament is torn, because it's not always the same for everybody. And if it's torn in an advantageous position, they can actually put that internal brace in there. If not, they have to replace the whole thing.
He's Dr. Jason Garrett of Arasti. He makes this stop by every week. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you, Doc. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Let Arasti take care of you, as he has for us just now. Doc Garrett, thanks for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you next. Have a great Fiesta week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Always enjoy having Doc Garrett stop by. He and the folks at Arasti keep me running. They'll keep you moving as well. The next hour is going to be chock full of goodness.
Really?
It is. I've been holding back. We've been saving the good stuff for the bitter end, the end of the show, the end of my week, really. In the 9 o'clock, we're going to look back at what we heard from Stephen Jones yesterday. Massive rationalization. Is there a plan in play? Because 365, we'll hear from him. Did the NCAA not do enough to stop the Michigan cheating? And we'll look forward to tonight's games on the other side. Last night, watching the TNT crew. So we get ESPN tonight.
Right.
And we had TNT last night. We go into halftime, and the boys are talking about we're talking about the halftime of the Golden State Sacramento game. Did you see Shaq go all in on Golden State and Klay Thompson? I got Klay. They're within 4, and Klay's 0 for 5. Golden State going to get it. Bet on it. Klay limped out of that game, never making a bucket. It's over in Golden State. As we head to break, Would you be upset if Klay Thompson landed in San Antonio?
That's a good question. But in true Radio Tease fashion, I'll have the answer for you.
We'll talk about it. Klay Thompson and the other veterans that it might aid in the growth of young Wemby and the other young dudes. We'll talk about that and look around the rest of the sporting world, getting you ready for a fine basketball evening. Hold on tight. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, we just talked to Dr. Garrett. I want to talk to you about Arasti. They are my fallback. They are my savior. If I'm dealing with pain, that's my first call because I don't want pain to keep me from doing things that I love. Neither should you. And in some of us, we reach an age where you just wake up thinking, well, I got to live with that. That's just part of age. It's just going to hurt. No, you can get it fixed. And that's what Arasti does. They're highly trained medical professionals already before they attain the Arasti certification. You got to be one to understand what they're doing. And what they do is get you out of pain fast in non-standard ways. I'm not talking about pills to hide the pain. I'm not talking about medication to dull it or surgery to prolong it. I'm talking about your body fixing itself. It works remarkably well. It has for me with my lower back. If you're dealing with sprains or strains, muscles above and below the waist. If you're dealing with, tension headaches all the way down to plantar fasciitis. If you're dealing with bad feet. Arasti can fix it, and they fix it fast. They accept most insurances, and here's what I love. You never need a referral to go see an Arasti provider. You're hurting, call them now. They'll get you taken care of. They're all around San Antonio. You want to prove it to yourself, go to Arasti.com. They got a map of all the providers there. Listen to me. I'm a proud Arasti patient. Many other thousands around you are as well. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arasti today. Get yourself fixed, and when you do, I know you're going to be thanking me later.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
EasyCater, 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Need food for a meeting or a company event? EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work, work. With easy online ordering and reordering. Save your favorite orders, make edits as needed, and click. We even help you with expenses by keeping your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy the food. From ordering to reporting, EasyCater has everything to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Are you ready to party with a purpose? Taste of the Northside is Thursday, April 18th at the beautiful Security Service Event Center. This elevated fiesta event for foodies includes on-site covered parking, entertainment, unlimited tastings from over 30 premier restaurants, countless curated wines and craft beers, hosted by Brighton Center, presented by HEB. Purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, the largest nonprofit in San Antonio serving children with disabilities through pediatric therapy and education initiatives.
Calling all children ages 8 to 16. HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing a youth football clinic to you on May 4th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at East Central High School in San Antonio. You can do skills and drills just like the pros. Register for your chance to participate at dallascowboys.com/HEB. Camp is limited to 150 athletes per session, so sign up today. Purchase not required to register. Parents must be 18 years of age or older and a Texas resident. The promotion ends April 25th. For official rules and important details, visit dallascowboys.com/HEB.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys added to their roster for the second time in the free agent period. His name is Royce Freeman. He's a running back. He signed a one-year deal coming from the Rams. He had 319 yards on 77 carries. In the play-in, the Sacramento Kings took down the Golden State Warriors, ending their season 118-94. And the Lakers, they beat the Pelicans 110-106.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. There's a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Just the beginning of a full sporting day. We're just warm up back to the Blitz. They'll be here about 2 o'clock. They'll have Coach Wade Phillips right off the top, getting you ready for the Brahmas coming back to work on Saturday. First and foremost, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. They did add a running back. One we're not sure will ever see the light of day as a Cowboy, or whether he plays or not is really secondary. His name is Royce Freeman, and he is a brand new Cowboy. Signed a one-year deal away from the Los Angeles Rams. That's just a drop in an empty bucket as we head into the offseason. Stephen Jones came out from underneath the rock and talked with the fan yesterday. And all he did, I think, was aggravate and anger everybody that heard it. There was not that anybody hear Stephen yesterday and go, oh, well, that's what's going on. Okay. Now I see.
Thank God. Right.
And I'll tell you, RJ, it was even worse than that. It wasn't like he even tried to.
Does he need to try to? I mean, that's the thing here. Like, you know, it is not in Steven's, like, and I'll be straight up. There's nothing he can say that will make anything better. Nothing. And there's nothing anyone can say. Have you ever done the what's your love language test, Rob?
Oh, I have. Yeah.
What is your love language?
It's food. It is.
I don't think we're talking about the same test.
No.
But,
I mean, it kind of is the same test, but it's how I cook.
So, let me find all of them. The love languages, the 5 love languages are, acts of service.
That's it.
Quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts. Right. So, like, theoretically, you know, your love language would be acts of service, and your partners would be receiving gifts or whatever, right. Like, hypothetically, right? Like, and things would match up. But that doesn't necessarily happen with human beings. So you have to kind of adjust to other people's, your partners or your significant others, your spouse's love language, right? You have to, you know, speak that language so that you can show them that you love them. And so right now, Steven, the people he's catering to, words of affirmation are not our love language as Dallas Cowboys fans. We have zero interest in words of affirmation. We have zero interest in quality time. What we need are acts of service. All right, now we'll take quality time if that's you putting in the work, but we're done hearing it. We're done with the talk. We're done with we've won 36 games for the last 3 years, blah, blah. No, now it's time to show us. Now it's time to give us legitimate results. Talking is only making the situation worse. No good, none, zero can come from you speaking. Please don't speak ever again.
Well, I'm not sure at this point, short of what he could say. What is the one thing that he could do in before the draft where we go, okay? And we don't even have to say, okay. Is it signing Dak? Is it giving one of the dudes that's waiting for a deal the deal? CD, Micah, If he came out today after what he said yesterday, and we're going to play some sound here in a second about accountability, and he said, okay, today we got a presser. We have signed CeeDee Lamb to a long-term deal. Long-term to the extent that, it's a lot of money. It'll be less than some of what the other guys are going to get, but it'll be the biggest that we've seen from a wide receiver in a while. But, it's the kind of contract you always talk about. Godfather them, overwhelm them, get them to sign, and move on. If he did that today, if the Cowboys came in and at least did that, would you get a little bit of hope, or is it going to be no matter what, it is too little too late? There's too many holes in the boat. It's going to sink.
If they got deals done,
not deals, deal. Let's not. I know dreaming's free and easy.
If they got deals done, I would take them slightly serious.
Okay.
You get one of these long-term, and I'll specify. You get the Dak deal or the CD deal done. The Micah deal, it needs to get done, to be very clear here, but you have time. There's the most amount of sand left in his hourglass. You get the Dak or CD deal done, I will promote you from the second place chair at the kids table to the bottom chair at the adults table. You're still way down the list. You got to wait for everyone to pass all the family style sides down to you and hope that there's a little bit left, but you can at least sit at the adult table in my house.
All right. Now, we talked yesterday about the Cowboys maybe doing something crazy in the first round, maybe a wide receiver, kid from Texas, Xavier. Peter Schrager was the guy that kind of floated this, right?
Yes, Peter Schrager. It was his mock where he had Xavier Worthy from the University of Texas, the worst school in this great republic, going to the Dallas Cowboys with the 24th overall pick.
Well, he was on Rich Eisen yesterday, and he had he explained why he has Xavier where he has him.
Instead of Mims, instead of his teammate A.D. Mitchell, who everyone has going in the top 15, I like Worthy for Dallas. I think Worthy actually is being undervalued, which is odd. Everyone I talk to is like, he's a first-round pick, and he competes, and he's an absolute burner. And for me, yes, Dallas offensive line is what everyone's projecting, and it makes a lot of sense. But crap, I don't know what we're doing with these contract situations with Dak and with CD. It's going to be a very long process getting both of those done. They will get done. I'm confident they'll get done.
When?
In the meantime,
I don't know. Seriously,
I don't know.
Peter.
It's such an interesting deal because it's not just one guy. It's two guys, and they're both awesome, and they both deserve to be paid, and everyone agrees about it. And they went through this with Dak during COVID in the pandemic here. I remember every day on Good Morning Football, waking up from a home cam, talking about, all right, Dak's contract, is he worth $35 million? I don't know. Is he worth $36 million? I don't know. Well, now we're talking $60 million. Those deals will get done. I'm confident. In the meantime, here's a relatively cheap first-round talent at wide receiver. You put him in there, and you give CeeDee Lamb a number 2 guy that's an absolute burner. I went with Worthy.
Interesting. That's Peter Schrager. He of the NFL Network with Rich Eisen. He too of the network. That's out of left field, man.
I want to reiterate what we said yesterday, in that this is just my opinion, but there are a handful of people who, when they mock, I will take it very seriously. And I'll even tell you them. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Media, Dane Brugler of The Athletic, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper. All right, historically, we're talking here. And then you've got your kind of classic insider mock.
Like Stern?
Those the four. No, Bob Stern doesn't really do mocks, but so those 4 are draft analysts. That's what they do. Brugler, Jeremiah, Kiper, McShay. These are draft analysts, right? I'd put Field Yates kind of in that mix nowadays, but Peter Schrager, and this isn't an indictment against him, isn't a draft analyst. He's an insider. He's somebody who connects information and connects dots and can piece and parse together whatever is necessary, whatever he's hearing, blah, blah, blah. So when he says this, it isn't, he's like thrown on the tape for Xavier Worthy and whatever. It's he's talked to enough people to where he believes this is legitimately possible. Now, in a vacuum, I'm not against the Cowboys drafting a wide receiver early. In fact, they need a wide receiver. They better walk away from this draft next weekend with a wide receiver of some kind. They don't have the luxury of being able to spend even a day 2 pick on the position. So the idea of them spending their first round draft pick, their 24th overall pick here on a wide receiver, let alone I mean, Peter mentioned his teammate at Texas, Xavier's teammate, A.D. Mitchell. I think that, like, any mock you look at, A.D. Mitchell's going a lot higher than Xavier Worthy because he's got a higher floor. This really feels, and you said it yesterday, like, he's really fast.
But he's so fast.
Like, I mean, it's just, I mean.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is, as we heard Steven talk yesterday about.
I'm sorry, just to add, Peter is not the kind of, a lot of people do the low-hanging fruit. I don't know. I could see the Cowboys just doing this. This is a Jerry Jones move.
Right.
Peter's
it
not
feels
that
way.
But that's not his MO. He's not the low-hanging fruit Cowboys narrative, pluck that kind of stuff and throw it out for content. That's not his game. So for him to say this means there's legitimate life there.
But it also feels like there's a little bit of just in caseness to it as well. Like, let's just say we make CD so bad he ain't gonna come play it. You will make him mad. He knows he'll get paid eventually someplace else, and he'll just play out the string and go get it. Well, we got Xavier in the background. We got him here just in case. Kind of like when we got CD Lamb, just in case Amari Cooper doesn't work out. He fell into our lap. Here he is. And guess what? He's the one that's still there, and the guy with the big money contract gone.
The thing about the CD Lamb thing, though, was, I mean, it was pretty similar, actually, when you kind of parse it out. Amari was to CD what CD would be to Xavier, and Gallup was to CD what Brandon Cooks would be. There's just, if you had taken care of needs in free agency and you wanted to do this, fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why, though, that they did that year in 2020. They had this big need along the interior on the defensive line. They signed Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe. They had this big need in the secondary. They signed HaHa Clinton-Dix. None of those things worked out. But, I mean, on paper at the time, they made sense. And so that allowed them to go into the draft and say, we're not pigeonholed. Like, we're not painted into a corner. We can go any direction that we need to. We can pivot however the board ultimately falls. And the name they were connected to over and over and over again in the pre-draft process in 2020 was K'Lavon Chaisson. Do you know who that is?
We interviewed him. He sat in front of us.
Well, so most NFL fans probably don't, because he doesn't play for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like, that's just the reality. But so, it's Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm talking about K'Lavon Chaisson, who got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars later in the first round. He was a pass rusher, and they kind of needed one. That was kind of like their highest level of need at the time, and they would get Micah Parsons a year later. But so, okay, cool. We kind of have this need. Wow, CeeDee Lamb fell. We didn't anticipate this. This was impossible. Let's just do it. We took care of everything else, and we'll kind of figure things out as we go along. They're not in that spot right now. They don't have that luxury. They don't have that room for error. That's why free agency is so important. That's why people are mad. It isn't because you didn't go spend $100 million on, whoever. It's because you didn't elevate your floor. You let yourself get so weak and so picked apart that now you have to overdraft. Now you have to go based on positional need, not best player available. And I don't even think, for that matter, that Xavier Worthy would be the best player available. But still, you're just not in that. You don't have that room for error right now.
What's your trust level in the process that the Cowboys use during draft day?
I mean, I don't think that there is. I don't think it's Jerry Jones being a wildcat the way that the national media kind of often presents it to be. I think that they're pretty reasoned. I think they're pretty rational. And I genuinely believe that they stick to the board. And you should stick to your board. Absolutely. You should not allow yourself to become emotionally compromised. And when you stick to your board, that's how you say, hey, CeeDee Lamb's there. He's the highest rated player on our board. We have to go that direction. Zach Martin's there. He's the highest rated player on our board. We have to go that direction. So I think that they're pretty good about that. Now, every now and then, and this happens to all NFL teams, you have, and this is generally deeper in the draft, a coordinator, a position coach, a certain area scout stands up on the table, so to speak, and pounds it, says, this guy, I'm telling you, I've seen it. I was there. I talked to his, biology professor and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And those things matter. But for the most part, I think the Cowboys are pretty non-emotional and pretty objective throughout the process.
There's audio of the brain trust of the Cowboys from last year's War Room, and how the draft was playing out. It's nothing new, but it's kind of floating around again. And I want to play just a little bit of it to get a sense of how they act. This is their fantasy draft. This is what they're in the midst of it, and this is the guys talking about things as they're going on.
The 12th and 13th pick are on the board. You got Bergeron and you got Mozzie. Mozzie would create a dynamic that we do not have now, and he would take some of the pressure off our outside rushers. I'm ready to take the nose guard. I don't need any more about Mozzie. As far as I'm concerned, with the few minutes we've got right here, let's try to sell the hell out of Bergeron over Smith.
He's strong. He's very technical. I think he's got swing tackle ability.
And if he does what we're all saying he can do, then you got your left tackle, you got your left guard, you got your fairly young center. And
Buffalo came up. Oh, Buffalo came up.
Okay, so that's kind of how it sounds, and I know this is an edited piece of audio that they're throwing in bits to kind of get to the sense of what was going on behind the scenes. Go ahead.
This is from I don't know if you recall, Roku did a documentary.
I didn't
on a handful of players during their draft process, and Deuce Vaughn was profiled.
Oh, so this was about Deuce Vaughn,
and so this was from and obviously the Cowboys are involved.
Well, what struck me about this audio as it went through, and I will be the first to admit that it's edited. I'm not getting the full back and forth, but I just got the sense that as they were going through the draft, and as you said, the best thing you can do is prepare your draft board and just trust the fact that the work you put into it was enough. And unless something just knocks the socks off and you can completely justify it, you stick to the plan and you draft the guys that you have rated the highest. Now, I get that. But when I hear Jerry talking about Mozzie, and we can discuss the whiff that was, and everybody in the room was evidently wrong for that. All of them were wrong. I didn't hear any dissenting voices. I heard Jerry go, yeah, we're set at 12. We like us some Smith. Now what we got to do is talk up the other dude so that guy will get drafted, or maybe whatever the case may be. I would like to know that in that draft room that there's somebody who goes, well, before we're talking about all the positive attributes of Mozzie or whoever else it might be, let's remember the negatives just for a second. Just to throw that out there before we're all the way in on this. There's the things about Mozzie that I don't like.
So I would offer, and you said that's not the whole clip. This
right.
is a very long clip when it came out at bloggingtheboys.com. So Will McClay speaks later in this clip.
Mm-hmm.
And Will McClay is the voice that everybody trusts relative to the draft process. So his exact quote is, personally, I would go with Mozzie because I know that he helps us now. With the guard, talking about Bergeron, I love the guard too. My question is, you're adding something to it where we have depth. I think the defensive lineman gives you an immediate starter and something for the future. We've had offensive linemen there. We've had the opportunity to pick. We've not had a interior defensive lineman that high in quite some time. Mozzie was the first interior defensive lineman who the Dallas Cowboys took in the first round for the first time since 1991 when they took Russell Maryland number 1 overall. So, I mean,
it's not about the pick. I know what you're saying.
Not that it was a dissenting voice, but I offer this because it wasn't like Jerry was like, I like Mozzie, and everybody was like, oh, we'll fall in line. Like Will McClay has enough clout to speak for himself there, and this was his pick.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is, and I'm not, we can discuss the value of Mozzie because everybody in the room was obviously wrong. It wasn't about that. I just think about when I know the guys that I know that are remarkably successful, that make hard decisions. Most of the guys I know that do that make sure they hear from somebody that they don't necessarily agree with before they make that decision. They get the devil's advocate. They get the dude that's going to say, Mozzie, that guy doesn't show up in big games. And when he did, he was eating the TCU little guards for lunch. So that's like him playing against high school guys. And when he was going against those big guards at Wisconsin, it wasn't quite what we saw against TCU now, was it? So
if you're inviting people to be a foil just to be a foil, then the purpose of it is completely lost.
No, I think at some point you get lost in your own synergy, that everybody starts agreeing and you get lost in, oh, I agree with you, harumph. I think that's some of the problems that the Cowboys get lost on this track because Jerry is the owner and the general manager and the guy who writes the checks to everybody in the room. Even McCarthy was like, yeah, let's get him.
I think that's a leap, though. Like that's a
I don't
leap
think
in an
so.
assumption.
I don't think they draft.
Again, if you're bringing in somebody, hey, come just be my disagree guy, then
yes,
what is the purpose?
I'm not a disagree guy, a devil's advocate. Like, what if this is wrong? Can we just put this all into place before we make the decision? And I didn't hear that. Not one voice said, well, wait a minute. Even McClay was like, now and later. Nobody said, well, wait a minute. We haven't done this for a long time. This is
nobody
why
in
we're
the,
drafting.
To your point, edited clip that
we and I find it interesting that you're defending their draft process.
Well, I mean, look, there are things that are certainly that warrant criticism, but like we don't have to. A long time ago, in the early parts of Patrick Mahomes' career, people would say things like he's never lost a game in September and all this kind of stuff, and it was super annoying. And our buddy Rob Stats Guerrera, he had a line that I thought was so apt. He said, we don't have to make up reasons why he's awesome. Like he is awesome. Like we don't have to like make these extra things up on top of it. And so there's enough reason to criticize the Cowboys, enough legitimate objective reasons. So we don't have to make up reasons and jump to conclusions and make assumptions like, oh, well, nobody pushed back on them, so like they deserve criticism for this. We don't know that. I mean, it's very possible. Plus, I agree with sticking to the board. I agree with that thought process, and that sometimes fails. And so far it's failed on Mozzie. There's still a lot of time left to be.
Pick. I was mad at the process. Everybody makes mistakes. It's not that. I just want to know and feel comfortable that it's not a bunch of yes men circling around Jerry. That whatever he says, the only guy that can say anything to him is the guy that supposedly grabbed him and said, you can't draft Johnny. If that's the only guy in there, your son, that's just not a way to make a proper decision when it really needs to be
nothing
made.
About the way they make football decisions is a way to make a proper decision. That's welcome to the party. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I've been saying this whole way through. I just don't. If you're the definition of insanity again, how can we expect anything different when it's the same guys in the room for the last 10 years? Mm-hmm. We'll continue talking about that. Let's look forward to some fine basketball games tonight. Can Miami do something unexpected? And is Joel Embiid actually going to play? We're talking NBA next. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it's Wednesdays, and that means it's special because it's Wednesdays with Wade. We will talk with the San Antonio Brahmas head coach at 4:35. Plus, we'll get you ready for the East Play-In tournament. And yeah, we'll talk Cowboys because it's The Blitz. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Can a president not have sex with a porn star?
Clinton did it. No one had a problem with Clinton doing it.
Or
Kennedy, or... No one had problems with them doing it, right?
It's definitely an ingredient that was injected from the other side. What's the guy's name? Mm-hmm. The evil guy from Hungary, super rich.
Dracula?
No.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com
I'm ready!
and get ready for the workday.
If you think Taco Bell is only for late night, you are mistaken. Taco Bell is also for daytime, which is why it's introducing the new Cantina Chicken menu with new Cantina Chicken tacos, burrito, and quesadilla. And new ingredients like seasoned slow-roasted chicken, freshly prepared pico de gallo, shredded purple cabbage, and even a new avocado verde salsa packet. It's the Taco Bell for when it's not late night.
Whoa, not just late night. Try the new Cantina Chicken menu now. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations was supplies last. Contact store for participation with spares.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The play-ins began last night. Won't have the Golden State Warriors to kick around anymore. At the end of an era, we done?
Yeah. It's been done.
Feels like
we knew that. Isn't it kind of wild how the era always ends after the new building opens?
It takes the era to build the building. And once it's open, it's over. Klay Thompson just ended with a whimper last night, 0 for whatever. Just didn't have a good game, and it follows up several years of, he's done in Golden State. Steph's going to stay there till the bitter end. I can't imagine him playing for anybody else, and Draymond will be on another roster as soon as they can get him off the team. So it goes. Watching the end of an era sucks. It's over.
Nobody ever leaves when it's just right. You either leave too early or you hold on too long. And I don't blame the Warriors. I mean, you got to get every last drop out. I mean, you got to try, and that's what they've been doing.
As the Spurs head into the offseason, I do like Klay Thompson as a potential end of the bench veteran presence that the Spurs could use. And the guy's still got a shot, but I certainly wouldn't rely on. That's just a thought that I had at the end of last night. Watching them go through what the Spurs have had to go through over these last 6 years or so. They're in for some work because there's no Wemby coming. At least the Spurs fell into that. The East tonight, we get the Heat at the 76ers. It's a 6 p.m. Tip right on ESPN. And there's some thought that, maybe Embiid isn't going to play. The Heat ain't what they were, but the Sixers, I think, are in. Gosh, if Embiid could just be 80%, or maybe they can just get through and get 80 more than that from Embiid. Watching what's going on in Milwaukee, I think that the 76ers could make a really interesting run. They could be the storyline of this playoffs because they'd be so much higher seeded. They wouldn't be playing tonight if Embiid hadn't been hurt.
That's true. Let me before I tell you, do you think he'll play tonight?
I wouldn't.
Okay, well, they are 5.5-point favorites. So
Right.
I think that odds makers think that he might. Do you think they're 5.5-point favorites against Miami without Embiid?
Tyrese Mack, no, they're not.
That's what I'm saying. Like the line suggests he's going to play. So prepare yourself. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Bulls are 3-point favorites over the Hawks, which is what we'd like to see. All right, we want this win for Chi-Town so that the Hawks can go on ice and Trae Young can start packing, get his move to San Antonio on already.
The last time they played, just a couple of weeks back on the 4th, Embiid had 29, but finished with a -19 plus-minus. It's the worst plus-minus they had of their career. Tyrese Maxey, on the other hand, had 37 and matched his career high with 11 assists. The Heat were down most of the game, took a 7-point lead at 7.5 and came back. It's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I look at the East and I say there's two threads. It's either going to be the Knicks or the Sixers that make a run. One of those two teams.
I was wondering what you were going. Okay.
And either the Knicks or the Sixers are going to play themselves through a couple of rounds. And I think that's going to be the story as we watch Boston just kind of roll through here. Giannis is not looking like he's going to play early on in these playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've said over the last couple of days, that's the reason why they went and got a Dame Lillard. And I am just shocked by so many that are counting the Bucks out. And they're probably right.
What do you mean? You're shocked. You've been counting them out.
No, I haven't. I felt like this is the time you went and got Dame to get you through periods like this. You spent the money, you spent the capital, you traded away value that helped you defensively that you don't have anymore. That you brought him in to win 3 or 4 games in a series. That's why he's here. Now, I think that most of the guys are looking at it like, I don't think you're capable of it. Because, first of all, I don't know what to make of this team. Doc's had a full roster, 7 times since he arrived? Other than that, every other game he's coached, he's missing 1 or 2 or 3 pieces. So I don't think Doc's going to save you. I don't think a roster's going to save you. I think it's going to have to be Dame. And I don't think he can.
Where do you think the Bucks rank in odds to win it all?
Right now?
The whole field.
Man, I wouldn't hasten. I'd say they're probably 7th or 8th in the list, though.
First
way down there
is Boston.
Yeah.
Plus 160. Second is Denver. Plus 280. Who do you think is third?
It's not the Bucks, is it?
It's not the Bucks.
Yeah. Third, I'd put Timberwolves, maybe? Oklahoma City, maybe? Clippers.
The Clippers are plus 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bucks at plus 1,500. Then the Thunder. Then the Thunder and Mavs are tied. Then the Suns are tied with the Sixers. Then the Lakers are tied with the Timberwolves. Consider this. Timberwolves are the 3 seed, right?
Yes.
3.
Yes.
They're the 3 seed in the West. They are plus 2,500 to win it all. They have the same odds as the Lakers, who just got in and have to play the Nuggets in the first round. So you might want to rethink, your secondary. I know you're all in love with the Kings now. You might want to rethink things a little bit.
And go where? There's nothing coming out of the East but Boston.
No. I'm saying I was talking about your Timberwolves love that you've shown.
No, I've changed. I've transferred my love. I'm buying purple clothes. It's not so much about the team for the Kings. I want to be part of the fandom. Should Dame be a cautionary tale for the Spurs at this point moot because the Spurs are not in the playoffs yet for Gilbert Padilla? You mean talking about trading a big money guy like Trae Young and bringing him in to kind of help you through? Could be.
What would be the caution? Like, what is the potential regret that the Bucks have here?
Well, they spent a whole bunch of money to kind of get themselves a title on what has been the most underappreciated great player in the NBA over the last decade, and he didn't have enough. They got him too late.
What do you mean? How do you know he doesn't have a net?
Well, that's
They
what I'm
haven't played a
saying. That's the
playoff game yet.
possibility. You're right. The
No,
possibility.
but right now there's not any cautionary tale to tell.
Not yet.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he flounders, if they were to lose in the first round or something like that because he can't carry them without Giannis, then yeah, it's a cautionary tale. But right now I think it's the opposite of a cautionary tale. Right now, trading for Dame looks brilliant because you never know what lurks around the corner. Giannis got hurt. Oh crap! What are we gonna do? Guess what? Dame Lillard's gonna save us. It's Dame time. You know what I mean? And then Giannis is gonna come back, and we're gonna go take out the Knicks, and then we're gonna fight like hell to take out the Celtics.
Who do you trust more, Dame Lillard or Jimmy Butler?
Man, I trust Dame if all things are equal, like if everything is calm. But if Jimmy's pissed off, like if somebody, if somebody upset him, then I trust Jimmy more. But there's got to be that motivation. Something bad has to have happened. If somebody spurned Jimmy Butler, then I trust him more.
Yeah, I trust Jimmy in a knife fight. I trust Dame in a gunfight. How's that?
That's a good way to put it, I suppose.
Because the toughness quotient is up for question. We're going to continue looking at the hoop side of things. And more sound coming from Stephen Jones as he spoke, and man, he probably shouldn't have. More Morning Huddle coming around the corner. You're on 94.1, and this is San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft. Live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those three massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roof. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Free. Who doesn't love free?
With My Lowe's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
94.1 FM. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, we are going to talk some Dallas Cowboys football because, well, why not? That's what we do here on the Blitz, and we're getting ready for the draft. Plus, we've got some more playoff basketball or play-in basketball. The East has its turn coming up tonight, and it's Wednesdays with Wade. He'll join us at 4:35. Hey, Rob, you want to – hey, Rob. I got nothing. Thanks, Joe. It's the Morning Huddle. We got something, at least for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. He's RJ. I'm Rob. Welcome to the Wednesday before Fiesta. Although there's some events tonight, it all gets going tomorrow. The Blitz will be broadcasting live from the Taste of the North Side, that beautiful new place up there at I-10 and 1604, that security service building right there. Going to be out there. You want your tickets? You can go to brightonsa.org for all that. We look forward to seeing everybody out at the beginning of all things Fiesta. Got my chili boots, got my sash. I'm going to be walking around like a South American general, festooned in medals and big hats.
Congrats.
Takeaways from last night. Lakers, can they make any hay? Can they scare somebody? Can they beat the Denver Nuggets once, twice, 3, 4 times?
So I want to ask you the question now because you won't have a chance to defend it or announce that you were right or wrong, and I'll give you credit. You can count the teams from last night, and you can look forward to the teams from tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the chance to go the furthest of the play-in teams? So obviously you got the Lakers, and you got the Pelicans still alive, depending on your belief in Zion.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Kings. Okay, so you can go out like the character in Inglourious Basterds, speaking of Kings. Or you have the Sixers. Okay, You can go that route if you so choose. You have the Heat. You have the Bulls. And you have the Hawks. If you had to bet on one to make a run, who is it and why?
Lakers.
Of all of them?
Well, there's 2. The Lakers in the West and the Sixers in the East.
I think the answer is the Sixers because of Joel Embiid.
Yes.
If he can get hot. I mean, I know you're betting against a lot of history, obviously, but if he can get hot, I think they're more dangerous than the Lakers.
Tyrese Maxey is about to become a superstar. He's already a star. We all know what he's capable of. But if he does what he's capable of and plays the defense and runs the offense toward 30 points a night, man, oh man, Boston better look out. That's all I got to say. Because the one point of weakness with Boston is at the post. I don't think it'll happen, though.
That would be so funny if, like, the year that everybody kind of was bailing on Philly, if this was it, and they finally got everything together, and it was so stressful and kind of cobbled together with duct tape and twigs and glue and scotch tape and bubble gum. It'd be kind of fitting.
And Nick Nurse is a good coach. Nick Nurse has been there and done that before, and I appreciate that. I loved watching the Kings last night. They're a compelling watch, but they're so stupid. They just do dumb things. So I don't know how far their youthful exuberance can take them, because it should have been over a lot earlier than it was against Golden State. Now, at the end, the separation of the final score did represent how that game looked. But it took them a long time to pull away from a bad Golden State team. I mean, 5 points at halftime with the way that both teams played, that should have been a 40-point win. I mean, the Golden State had no heart. Seriously. I mean, Klay Thompson never got on board, and every time Sacramento had a chance to make a run there in the second quarter, they would just dribble off their foot, stupid shot. There's something about them. They remind me of Denver a couple years ago. They just need to be seasoned a little bit more, but they're a fun watch. But the Sixers have a far better run in them.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to go Sixers.
I'm going to scatter shoot. I'm going to hit something else on that has been floating around, and it was the Adam Schefter talking about quarterbacks and it started with the Cowboys saying, all these quarterbacks and the Cowboys might be a sleeper to grab. And I heard him talking yesterday about 6 quarterbacks possibly going in the first. Listen to this. This is Schefter.
We've been talking about all these teams that need quarterbacks. And we're talking about 6 quarterbacks that potentially could go in the first round. And because of all the teams that need one, to me, that's going to drive up the number of quarterbacks taken in round 1. Because of the needs of so many teams, I would be shocked if there weren't at least 5 quarterbacks taken in round 1. And I think because of all the teams that need one, I think we're going to wind up with 6 when all is said and done.
There's so many different angles to this, because I'm not sure there's 6 first round. I'm not sure there's 4 first round quarterbacks in this draft. I don't know how they're all graded up.
There's definitely 4.
I am out on McCarthy. I don't think so. I'm going to plant my flag right now. I'm not even sure about Penix, quite frankly, but I'd give Penix more opportunity. I think McCarthy is not a lot of there. He's a good, firm cardboard box.
So the 6 that it would have to be to get all 6 would be obviously Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. Those are kind of the consensus top 3.
Give your list. I learned something about Drake May yesterday I didn't know, and everybody else in the whole world knew it. I didn't know.
Oh, tell us.
He's Luke May's brother. I didn't know that. That guy, when you poke his vein, blue blood. Like, I had no idea.
So Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy's thought to be the 4th, or he is the 4th, maybe even the 3rd, just depending on how teams evaluate them. So those 4, you can bet it all, are going in the first.
I know, and whoever drafts McCarthy is going to regret it. Mark my words.
The 5th and 6th would be Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. Now, we talked about the Peter Schrager mock. He had Bo Nix going 23rd, the pick before the Cowboys, to the Minnesota Vikings. So a lot of people, myself included, thought that the Vikings would trade up after they picked up some ammunition from the Texans in the trade up that they made with them, but they didn't, at least for a quarterback in this particular mock. So the reason, for what it's worth, that this is always talked about, in case anyone's unaware, is you're drafting a quarterback in the first round. We talk about this all the time, right? Like, if you draft somebody in the first round, you want to pay them because you think the plan is for them to be very good, right? Like, you're not planning for them to suck, right? The plan is for them to be very good. So when you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, you're planning for them to be the franchise quarterback for your team. Franchise quarterbacks, as we kind of know through all the discussions we've been having, are very, very, very expensive. Okay, so if you can get even another year of cheap rookie contract labor, that is, it's an incredible value, an incredible bargain relative to the overall salary cap. So if you're taken in the first round, you have that 5th-year option. You don't have that in the second round and beyond. So that kind of thing boosts the probability that Michael Penix Jr. and or Bo Nix could go in the first round.
Just because that extra year of eligibility and cheapness. Of the name, we know by the numbers if there are 6 quarterbacks drafted, only 2 of them are really going to make a difference. Right? Isn't that kind of the percentage? That we're under 30%.
I mean, like the last few quarterback classes have all been, duds.
Right.
Like think about 3 years ago. Quarterbacks went 1, 2, and 3 for the first time in like 25 or 30 years almost, and they were Trevor Lawrence, who's good,
Fair
but
to Midland, yeah.
But do you feel like overwhelmingly great right now? No, but he's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a franchise quarterback. Zach Wilson, yikes, and Trey Lance, oof, and then Mac Jones went that first round as well. So
I think
again
now we have well established. We have zero trust in just about everything the Cowboys do. But at the same time, they have at least the strongest part of their administration, I do believe, is Will McClay and their talent search. I do think that there are certain things that they are really good at. Finding offensive linemen, they're good at that. That guy, whoever's their scout, they find the guys. 6 quarterbacks taken allows for a little bit of extra talent to be floating around. It does seem to be setting up for, if the Cowboys are in the mood to go something crazy, there's going to be some dudes floating around by the time, because there are going to be some teams reaching for quarterbacks.
That's the thing. I mean, this is always the case and has always been the case for the Cowboys. We would love that. We want that. Come get the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Push the players down. Push the talented offensive linemen, the talented tackles, talented skill position players. Push down all that stuff. Give us options and give us maybe the option to even trade back. I mean, that's what we really, really want to see. We want options. So in a perfect world, I mean, imagine if that assertion is correct, and imagine if people get really antsy and there's 23 picks in front of the Cowboys. Imagine if 6 of them are quarterbacks.
And somebody jumps up and drafts Penix at like 17. Oh no.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Push them all down. Push them all down. And if you are of the belief that the Cowboys are going to be in the quarterback market again in the future, or in the near future, as soon as 2025, come get out of line. You know what I'm saying? Come take care of your quarterback need right now and serve as one less competitor on the market for a future quarterback a year from now.
And tell me why you don't think that J.J. McCarthy is anything different from A.J. McCarron or Mac Jones or anybody else who was a quarterback on a really, really good football team that didn't have to do a whole lot. Tell me why you think he is that good. Because he might be. I just don't see it.
I think the main difference between those players specifically is he's an athlete. I mean, all these other, kind of bus drivers at these prominent, I wouldn't even say D1 programs, but like prominent just factories of college football, which is kind of, game managers isn't the right way to put it, but like, how many star running backs has Alabama had that they've just kind of cycled through over the course of recent history? And, Blake Corum's nice, but J.J. McCarthy is an athlete. I mean, he executed things that required high degrees. That was not the case for Mac Jones. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mac Jones had the great benefit of all these talented workers around him and did his job, to be very clear, but also had, name me a star receiver on Michigan's offense.
Oh, I'm not saying that he's not good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I can't name one. You're right. And I can only name one other guy on that offense.
Alabama,
right.
Yeah, Alabama in recent history has had Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, their offenses have been just a joke of talent. And I would also offer, like, name the last Michigan quarterback who you thought at all of, not even highly of, but just thought of. Versus Mac Jones shared a quarterback room with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, right? Like, the system kind of speaks for itself and operates itself. And Michigan has developed its own system, and I don't want to, lose sight of that either. But I think that McCarthy has done more and been asked to do more specifically, which wasn't the case for anybody else that you mentioned.
If you were looking for a quarterback and there was, of the 6, the only 2 left were McCarthy, which probably would have been long gone, or Bo Nix. Is Bo Nix the least of the 6?
He's definitely number 6 in terms of the ranking.
I saw a passing number for him yesterday where I forget the acronym for the stat, but it's the number of yards the ball carries in a pass. And he had by far the smallest number per attempt, like 4 yards, where so many screens and that Oregon offense kind of manufactured huge numbers, but he wasn't doing a whole lot inside of it. But I think he's as much a winner as anybody else out there, and I think that's as good as some of the other stats that we try to manufacture. That's a pro thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put a lot of stock into like he's a winner, but I'm definitely interested in JJ McCarthy. I mean, that's a right fit kind of thing. And for what it's worth, we saw Mac Jones have success with the right fit until the Patriots got wild and crazy and were bringing back Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to be his offensive coordinators. I mean, that just nobody could have thrived there. And so, I mean, I don't feel for Mac Jones, but that's why if JJ McCarthy lands in the right spot, the right caring hands, I could totally see that working out for him. By the way, that dude who did that to Mac Jones is potentially the future head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Fingers crossed. The draft with the quarterbacks is one thing, and the reach for a Bo Nix is another. I think that the Cowboys are desperate for a frenzy. Like when in the fantasy draft, when everybody's just waiting, I'm going to draft a running back, I'm going to draft a quarterback, I'm going to draft a tight end, and I'm just going to wait. I hope I'm on the front end of the quarterback run. I'm not going to get him yet, but I got to be ready. When that round hits, 4th round, 5th round, if I'm not on that train, I'm going to be in trouble.
If you can't just decide this is the round that we want to do.
No, you have to be ready for it, though. You got to be like, okay, I'm going to draft appropriately, but when the time comes, I got to be ready. And I feel like this is how it's going to go. Everybody's going to have, this is the tackle we want, and this is the running back we want. But, here goes the run. Who do we like the least and who do we like the most? If you play long enough, eventually you get good attributes. For the first time I've heard a quarterback compared favorably to Dak Prescott. I saw an application of the quarterback from Florida State, and they say, you know what? Reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. That's the first time I've seen that application to Dak in the draft, saying, you know what? He's got all the best attributes of Dak Prescott. That's first for me.
I've definitely seen that. I mean, you have to consider that Dak is the longest tenured starting quarterback.
And that's why it struck me.
Team.
Name any other quarterback in the draft where they go, he reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. I don't remember that.
I certainly can't think of a name off the top of my head, but it's definitely happened before. I mean, he's been in the NFL for almost
his name?
a decade.
Travis? Is that the Florida State kid with the broken ankle?
Oh, well, I mean,
above and beyond. I'm not saying that it was the ankle thing, but I think that's, Dak, that's a good thing. That's really on a high-end quarterback's first time I've ever heard somebody compared favorably to Dak. Big, strong,
Rob,
capable.
Why don't you impart some wisdom on us?
Don't eat yellow snow. And if you got confetti on you, well, let it fall off in the bed.
Your home for the Cowboys.
Touchdown all the way. Run.